Luka. Wow. Wow.
This is long. It's my favorite version.
What is going on, everybody? Hopefully, guys are doing well out there. That is right. It is another Thursday night around the globe here on Sports Card Radio. We've got 8:34 p.m. on the East Coast, where we have the city of Boston celebrating, I believe, their 18th championship. I don't know what time it is in Dallas, but it's time for Luka to go on a diet and learn how to play a little defense, because he learned the hard way that the NBA Finals is about winning and it's about stars showing up, and he certainly did not do that. Don Sack got exposed, and the hobby is going to feel the pain, and they've been feeling the pain on his cards for quite some time. We're going to be looking at some Don Sack cards ending potentially tonight on the weekly auctions over at Golden. We'll talk about also, it looks like you can send your cards that were in the marketplace to auction. So that's kind of exciting. So we'll talk about that. And I don't know what the hell else we're going to probably some Filthbomb breaks carry over from last week and many other topics. And for that, we pass it over to Ryan. But before that, we obviously have super producer Tim in the background, as always, working the phone lines, working the chat. Ryan, what's going on tonight?
How we doing, everybody? Got a lot to talk about in the sports card world. We've got baseball going on. Heliot Ramos, one of the hottest players in all of baseball, just hit a 3-run home run.
Is his cards doing? Are his cards doing something?
But yeah, I probably sold 40 of his cards in the last week and a half.
Okay. So
I conveniently bought. People care. I conveniently bought a lot of 70 of them to sell at a card show. They didn't sell at a card show. He started hitting home runs. I put them on eBay, and they basically snap sell every single day. So if you've got any Heliot Ramos cards, by all means, get them out of the boxes and get them on eBay because they'll probably sell. I actually have still have like a refractor. I have a 1 of his. I actually have some decent cards of his. So let's just say maybe dinner in New York City at the Fan Fest will be on Heliot Ramos if he keeps hitting home runs. But we got a lot to talk about in the sports card world besides Heliot Ramos. I see the chat is already fired up as we got the new metal version of the ruined the Hobby I Love song that played in the beginning. We actually have another version to play at the end. So you want to stay till the very end to hear another special version of that particular song. But I see a lot of people in the chat fired up. Auburn Trading Card Show. What's up, buddy? Saw you today. Bob Boozle, his wife. Let him watch once again. We appreciate that. TheCardDeal.com, Phoenix Rising, Samuel Moose. This is True Beats. BK Sports Cards is in the house. This cardboard life says Don Sack. Where's Wolfie in the house? Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sports Card Radio. On today's program, we'll get into a very famous screw breaker is retiring. We've got a new lawsuit that says Panini is broke. We've got a break clip. Yeah, we've got explosive testimony.
Boy,
a new lawsuit.
I remember when they were having their problems. I think I went on like a golden live, and I was like, there was everybody. Oh, they're fine financially, and I got on there, and I was like, guys, this is not good. Shocker that Sports Card Radio is right again. Continue on.
So yeah, we'll definitely get into all that. We'll play a break clip from Mama Breaks. Is she magical? Or is she trying to pull a fast one on the hobby community? We'll certainly get into that. We'll dig into a 4-year-old tweet from one of your very special hobby heroes that has to do with Luka Doncic and investing in his cards. We will see how that 4-year-old tweet turns out tonight. We have a change in policy over at the Godfathers over at PSA. We'll get into that. Is Kurt's Card Care on the ropes? And folks, we have a very special person calling in at 7 p.m. So special that he wanted me to actually play an intro video prior to his call-in. I don't know if I'm going to grant that request, but he has some interesting ideas, not only in the sports card world, but the world of Beanie Babies. So you're going to want to stay tuned to that. So we're very much looking forward to Jimmy B calling in. But
so you're saying I could take a nap at 7 p.m.?
Well, you may want to not take a nap. You may want to be taking some notes. You know who you want to be taking some notes from is our boy Bill Belichick, who, I don't know if you saw this, has a new girlfriend, and it is none other than, I believe her name is Jordan Hudson. Isabella maybe is her middle name. I don't know, but she is a former cheerleader or whatever those type of girls do. She is in her 20s Mr. Belichick. I don't know how old he is, but he's a little bit north of in his 20s. Here they are on a little airplane. He's been seen leaving her house shirtless. And oh boy, retires and just having a great time. So what do you think about Mr. Bill Belichick dip diving into the little 20-year-old crew? And what do you think about his new girlfriend?
Hey, it, gives hope for everybody that is, continuing to get older every single day, that, age is timeless, and these girls are struggling out here. I think this is a sign of the time. This is Joe Biden's economy right here, Ryan. At one time when you were 24 and you were a cheerleader, you might have dated the athlete, or you might have, just been doing okay. But now Joe Biden's economy, young, attractive, female, you got to go further up the ladder these days in order to, I mean, to me, it's not like they're not flying private there, obviously. So, gives hope for everybody that earns a couple bucks in their life and reaches, I think somebody in the chat said he's 74. Yeah, 50-year age gap.
Bill,
nothing wrong with that.
Trophy.
Hey, it ain't nothing wrong with that, baby.
Woo.
Either side. If she wants to move up the ladder, I got no problem with that. If Bill wants to dip down into that, but God knows I got no problem with that. So, congrats, Bill. Congrats, the young lady, Jordan. What's her name?
I think it's like Jordan Hudson or something, but her Instagram is Jordan_Isabella.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, indeed. In other news in the sports card world, I know a lot of people were probably saddened to hear that Cameron Brink, the star player for the Sparks, hurt her knee, and she is out for the rest of the year. So if she needs any help in her recovery in any kind of way, I certainly offer my services and the services of Sports Card Radio to aid in her recovery. So we certainly wanted to give a shout out to our girl Cameron as she recovers from ACL surgery. So certainly a tough loss for the WNBA and for Sparks fans everywhere. But I did want to give you a chance to comment, since we are longtime San Francisco Giants fans. And unfortunately, Mr. Willie Mays passed away at the age of 93. Obviously, one of the greatest players in the history of the game, let alone the San Francisco Giants. I do remember our grandmother, who passed away several decades ago, would scoff at the idea that Barry Bonds was as good as Willie Mays. So that just shows you how good Willie Mays was. What were your thoughts on the life and the career of Mr. Willie Mays?
Well, yeah. Shout out Willie Mays. Maybe slightly underappreciated in the hobby, in terms of, you'll have LA Dela Cruz cards, like a base card will sell for $27,750 this week. So, maybe slightly underappreciated, but certainly not out here in the Bay Area. And it's actually been, a sad last couple of weeks. I think you had Bill Walton, you had Jerry West, obviously, and now you got Willie Mays. And so, and a lot of these sports leagues aren't all that old. You know what I mean? I think the NBA just celebrated maybe 75 years or something. So it's not like these leagues are that old. And so a lot of these players that were obviously iconic in the early days, they're getting up there, and Willie lived to a nice ripe old age. So he lived a great life, and he's got a lot of memorabilia in the hobby, and it's definitely going to be continuing to be cherished, not only from the dealer side. I'm sure there was many running to maybe list some things, raise some prices on some items this week. And obviously people maybe be feeling a tad bit nostalgic and getting out there and buying some Willie cards. So rest in peace, Willie. Luckily the Giants have succeeded since he has left the team many years ago. And so we'll miss, I'm sure many players around the organization will miss Willie. I think he was actually a part of the Giants organization think because he didn't make a lot of money in his career. I think the Giants actually, he's actually been on the Giants payroll for a while. So
definitely, I do remember going to the 2010 World Series parade, and the first car down the drag to celebrate the Giants World Series, Willie Mays was in the convertible. So that was quite a day in San Francisco. Quite a day over at cbhobby.com, where if you use promo code Will Greer, ladies and gentlemen, you can save 10%. So that'd be like $55 on this immaculate WWE box. So go on over there, support the show. We're over here getting full on grift mode over here at Sports Card Radio. Other cards we're looking at tonight, besides that Willie Mays, which looks like it's kind of selling for around what they've been selling for in the last few months. Ronald Acuna, speaking of ACL injuries, our boy Ronald Acuna blew out his. He's gone for the whole season. This used to be a $3,000 card. So it's currently sitting at $1,200. We'll see where that one ends up. Here's 183 graded Lorcana cards. I have no idea what these are worth, but $5 each, probably worth a stab.
hold on. According to Jeff Wilson, those should be worth a lot more.
You
Didn't
are
he
correct,
say
because
that Lorcana was going to be bigger than Pokemon?
that is correct. Jeff Wilson, your hobby hero, the legend himself, Jeff Wilson, aka the sports card investor, did say that Disney Lorcana could be bigger than Pokemon. So I feel pretty good that I'm the high bid on these, and maybe we'll take those deep well into the night. Speaking of well into the night, speaking of Willie Mays, 1972 partial set. I've literally bought and sold about 400 1972 Topps cards in the last couple of weeks. So I'm familiar with what these cards are worth. I'm familiar with what the commons are worth. I'm familiar with what I could get for them in a big lot or a big auction. And so I've got a number in mind on these. And you can see Willie Mays there, something like that. Depending on the condition, a card like that, probably about, I don't know, $10, $15. So maybe a little more, maybe a little less. The common ones, I don't know, 20, 30 cents each. But certainly some room on the bone there. Derek Jeter. This slot's got an SP. This thing's probably mangled or trimmed or eaten on. You know, the card I noticed was this. It's got a Jeter Mantle Bush gold over here in the corner.
Nice.
Yeah. These sell for about $10 maybe on check on my cards, but not even the gold version. So
wow.
I don't know what a gold version is worth, but a gold version is probably worth 20 or 30 at least. And then you got the SP, even if this thing is mangled, it's probably worth $40. Got the pinnacle down here. So could add up there. This Willie Mays is at $3,300. We will see what happens to his merchandise. Speaking of merchandise, we will be talking about Mr. Luka Doncic tonight, as he went through another season of failure. And we will get into some past tweets about Mr. Doncic and kind of where he's at in terms of investing, in terms of his card pricing. Speaking of Rolexes, you can own Reggie Jackson's 1978 Rolex GMT Pepsi dial. 23 days from now it ends. It's already at $12,200. What do you think this thing is worth?
Vintage Rolex, not my specialty. Like a brand new one of those is, I want to say they're trading probably 18 to 20. And they retail for about that much. I think retail price on that is maybe before tax around 12,000 or so. Vintage, man, I don't know. There's all kinds of different little dials, and whether or not it's, it looks all original. I don't think he's done a dial swap or anything like that. It looks all original to me. The band has certainly been, he's worn this watch a lot. I don't know. It's definitely worth 10 grand. because I'm on watch sites where I see watches like this, and they're listed at very least that. I'm not sure. I'm not a vintage guy, but I just know brand new Pepsi GMT is going to set you back probably at least 17, 18 right now, maybe even higher than that. So,
wow. Okay. That's pretty interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that and other cards throughout the evening. But I did want to get into our first topic. And one of the true original gangsters of this industry, certainly the group break industry, is Cards Infinity. He has been around for the better part of 20 years, 44,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think he has over 65 million views on YouTube. I think 80,000 videos on his channel. He is retiring from the sports card world. He's going to close his physical store, which I believe is open in like North Carolina, in a couple months. As he liquidates inventory, he is getting out of the business. He says in this video, he feels that it's the right time. He said business was slowing down for him a little bit, and it's a good time to step away. He noted that the intense stress that you are under if you are trying to break cards for these heathens out there in the sports card world. What do you think about a legend like Cards Infinity stepping away from the breaking world?
Well, the timing's interesting, and I think it's interesting that he says, businesses slow down. That's certainly not, you listen to the pumpers of the industry, and it's, oh my God, things are great. Yet they're all out there running around trying to do a repack product. So clearly unopened wax. I think what we've seen is the price has been elevated over the last several years. And now the content is, I don't think, keeping up with the price. They're still charging thousands and thousands of dollars for one of these boxes. And I think what we're seeing is, even if you pull one of the best cards out of the box, you're not even like breaking even. You know what I mean? Like there were Prism boxes where it was like, okay, yeah, even if you pulled a Wemby, like even like a colored Wemby, it wasn't even like covered like the cost of the box. So, and so I think I think there has to be some adjustment there. And if not, then we're probably going to see more people make this decision. I think a lot of them are making the decision. They're going to repacks or they're selling slabs or whatever. But I think, give it another year or two, because the prices aren't going to go down. You're going to have this year's football. Panini's going to try to milk, when we will talk about Panini later, in the financial trouble that they're in, which we talked about here on Sports Card Radio, by the way. We were like the only, everybody was like, no, they're good. They got soccer stickers. They got a bunch of money. And I was like, no, they don't. No, they don't. I had Bloomberg terminal access, and no, the company's not doing that great. So, yeah, I just think the price continues to go up on the retail end, on the wholesale end. Distributors have been driven out. They get very or less supply than they used to. So everybody's trying to milk every last dollar out of these breaks. And also, as we see, allocation is a little bit more subjective these days. You got to have a nice shop. You got to kiss that. You always had to kiss ass, but now your shop has to look nice. You have to get likes on Instagram. You can't say anything negative, and so it's become a different ball game than certainly 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, when you could, literally set up a wholesale account in an afternoon and have a couple cases of product coming your way if you wanted to. It was these distributors had stock on hand. You could sign up for an account and they'd have, a 30-page PDF with all the in stock that they have. Obviously those days have kind of come and gone. And so the business has certainly changed. And certainly the way he was kind of doing his business, where it was a lot of breaks, it was personal breaks, those types of things. I think we're moving into an era where you might not be able to survive like that as a card shop. You might not, in the past, you might have been able to do breaks, put some YouTube videos up, had some customers come in the shop, do some personal breaks, and that was enough. I don't know if we're moving into an era where that's going to be enough. Because again, you've got like the Jeff Wilsons, who's clearly, supplemented by something, whether it's PPP money, whether he sold a business and made money, whether his wife sold a business and made money. I mean, this is what you're up against now. You're up against a guy who seemingly doesn't look like he has to even make money on his shop. And has got all these employees and is flying around the country, loading up suitcases, buying cards. It's tough. And then you got the backyard breaker guys. They got like 9,000, white boys working for them. And so it's tough. It's tough. And the game is certainly changing. And, sometimes I actually think calling it quits and hanging it up might be the right thing to do.
Definitely might be. So certainly one of the legends in the YouTube game. I mean, if you were around 20 odd years ago on YouTube, it was his videos and maybe a couple other people's videos that you would be watching. So certainly interesting that he's deciding to call it quits. I did notice, I think his hobby shop got robbed like 4 weeks ago. So this is a stressful business, regardless of what side you try to get on, whether it's the brick and mortar side, whether it's breaks, whether it's selling online. We'll get into other disaster stories from around the hobby as we move along in the show. But definitely thought it was interesting. And we will definitely see what happens to other breakers. I think we mentioned on last week's show, we talked about, who were the biggest breakers? At one point, Cards Infinity was the biggest breaker. And now he is retiring. So we will stay up to date on that. I did want to, you mentioned the Panini situation. And there was, funny enough, there was a defamation lawsuit filed in the sports card world, and we were not named in it.
Oh, no way.
That might be breaking news in and of itself. Defamation lawsuit, and our names were nowhere to be found. But within it, the lawsuit itself stemmed from somebody who was working for a company called Perfect Game. He either got fired or left the company, and then he started running around the industry and talking bad about Perfect Game. So therefore, Perfect Game decided to sue this former employee for defamation. Now, within the lawsuit, we got explosive allegations that Panini is facing financial issues. Because it looks like Perfect Game and Panini were going to go do a business deal. But then the business deal and the lead on that ran cold because Panini ran into operational and financial issues during key development phases of the sports card promotion planned by Perfect Game. It says in the lawsuit that an industry competitor, i.e. Fanatics, had acquired a significant percentage of Panini's employees. And around the same time, Panini fell victim to a burglary in which valuable memorabilia was stolen. As a result, Panini was virtually unresponsive to Perfect Game's inquiries. So, what do you think about the operational and financial issues that Panini allegedly faces? And the fact, I guess, that we're finding out that valuable memorabilia was stolen. If you don't remember, Panini's office in Texas was robbed. I think a story that was broken exclusively on Sports Card Radio first. Their building was robbed and valuable memorabilia was stolen. What do you think about these allegations?
Well, yeah, Dennis, I'm eating some pizza because it is dinner time. out here for me. I just played 9 holes of golf too, so I'm on that Bobby Bonilla lifestyle. If anybody knows anything about that, I'll be living the Bobby Bonilla life for at least the next year or so. So not a lot going for me, but so certainly no financial issues going on over here at Sports Card Radio. That's for damn sure. Yeah, look, right around this time, we said this company is going to face massive financial issues. And then, oh my God, everybody, it's literally the same guys that thought 8 months ago, 12 months ago, whenever all this stuff went down, Luka Doncic was a generational talent. He was going to win 19 MVPs. He was not going to win like multiple championships. He was going to win multiple championships like in a single year. Like he was going to win the NBA one, and then he would go to Yugoslavia or wherever the hell he's from and go win one there. And then maybe he would go to the WNBA and win one. I have no idea. I'm sure, again, I would get criticized with how I pronounce his name. Now I'm hearing Luka Doncic more than I'm hearing how you actually do pronounce his name. So it's funny how once the guy actually gets exposed, the truth comes home. And Panini is just getting exposed at this point. Because let's be real, guys. I don't care if you're selling dog manure or if you're selling dog food, like an ex-Tops employee happened to transition from, or you're selling baseball cards. Ryan, I don't care what business you're in. Off the top of every single sale that Panini makes, they have to pay not only the leagues, but they also have to play the players as well. On every not net sale, every gross sale that they make, they have to pay the NFL and the leagues and the players money off of every sale. I don't care what you're selling. Everybody that sells on eBay knows every sale, man, eBay has taken their cut, right? It's the same thing. Except with Panini, it might be even worse because they have to you are just buying the card and then reselling it. Panini has to manufacture the card. They have to pick, pack, and ship the cards. They have to get them wrapped. They have to pay somebody to design the cards. They have to have legal team look over the cards. They have to have editors and copywriters look at the cards. They have to come up with a design. They have to coordinate all of this. They've got to maybe sometimes come up with a marketing plan around the cards. They have to do all this stuff to come out with a card where the leagues collect 15, 20% on every sale. It's a terrible business. This is why, and I always bring this up and people, for some reason, people think it's different. Every single card company outside of Topps has gone bankrupt. Upper Deck teetered, okay? You could argue maybe Upper Deck didn't, but they ran into financial problems too. Lost the MLB license and were teetering for many, many years and basically have somehow salvaged their business over the last couple of years. But they had to shrink down their business in a major, major way. And so that's what Panini has to do if they want to continue to make cards here in the United States, which I'm not convinced that they will. I'm almost 100% sold that when this company loses their license, they'll hang around for maybe a little while. It's kind of like an ex-girlfriend, Ryan. You've probably been in this situation, maybe with like a Bumble date, where you go on one date and then maybe you have a couple of follow-up texts. Okay. You have no intention of going out with the girl because you already rounded the bases, if you will. You have no intention of taking a second at bat. But, there's a couple of follow-up texts. Oh, yeah, I had a great time, blah, blah, blah. That's what Panini is going to do the year or two after they lose their licenses. It'll be, oh, yeah, we're still making, I don't know. I don't know what license they have. WNBA cards? I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Second year, third year Caitlin Cart cards, these aren't going to be worth shit. So you're Luka Doncic. I have Luka Doncic cards over here. They don't even sell, and he was in the NBA Finals. And people actually know who he is. So, yeah, I don't This is a company already in deep financial problems. They are run by an absolute cheapskate who, runs things on a shoestring, pulls every dollar out of the business that he possibly can. Their employees, at the first sign of jumping ship to Fanatics, they all like raised their hand and was like, oh, yeah. I'll run over there and I'll defect. Even the CEO of Panini, the current CEO of Panini,
That's true.
was trying to leave. He was trying to leave too. This is the Titanic. I just worked for a company like Panini, okay, where it's not the Titanic after it's sunk, but it's sinking. And you either, as an employee, you either decide to jump off the ship or you just go down with it and you sink, okay? And that's where Panini is. It is a sinking ship. It's the Titanic. And now it's a little more obvious, but we were saying this, I think, about a year ago. When maybe even a little longer than that. I remember talking about this. Everybody was like, no. But, there's those sports card radio guys being drama. I was telling people, get your redemptions. Get whatever the fuck you can. Don't, please God, don't let this company owe you anything. Because you're going to get screwed. And I have no confidence in this company. The burglary was either an inside job or a way to get some insurance money. If they stole memorabilia, it's a cheap way to unload. Because Panini knows, we just lost all our licenses. We've got all this memorabilia. We don't really want it in the hands of Fanatics. And we can't really make the cards. We're not going to be able to make them in that short of time. We don't need to load up these boxes any more than we do. So let's just say it was a burglary. And then we call up State Farm and get a reimbursement for the burglary where nobody has been charged. Nobody has been arrested. This company's a joke. It's not that Fanatics is like Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend, but it certainly is an upgrade, guys. Panini is certainly like Bill Belichick's ex-wife, who probably looks more like Luka Doncic than that girl. So I'm excited. Get Panini the hell out of here. Company's been a joke, has been a joke. Hasn't really done a lot for this hobby, to be honest with you. I know there's going to be breakers out there. There's going to be other guys on podcasts and videos. Oh, Panini's did everything. That's because you got back in the hobby in 2018. If you've been around this hobby for as long as we have, Panini's just is a footnote in the history of this hobby, in the footnote in brands. It'll be a footnote, and whoever ends up with the IP and the brands will continue on some of them, but most of them will end up like all the brands. Panini bought all the brands out of some kind of bankruptcy. They bought Donruss out of bankruptcy. They got Crown Royale, bankruptcy. Pacific, bankruptcy, all this stuff. I mean, they got all this stuff other than Prism, which they basically just copied Finest. It's like a mesh between Finest and Topps Chrome. They just copied that. And initially, nobody even liked it. I mean, you couldn't give away Prism boxes in the early days. And Flawless and Immaculate, wasn't it Carvin that got hired onto there? And he basically just copied Exquisite to make those brands. Companies really hasn't done anything that innovative. And they've been in financial trouble. They'll continue to be in financial trouble. If you have any redemptions with them, I would take whatever the hell I can get and move out the door and move on. Because this is a sinking ship. It's the Titanic. We've been saying that for a long time. We can probably find the clips. I have some clips saved. I have one guy in particular. I know he sometimes tunes into the show, so maybe I won't put him on the blast right now. But there's a content creator that does tune into the show that was like, oh, no. Panini's going to be great. They'll be fine. But again, it's a content creator I don't remember before 2020. It's one of these guys that get into it. They think they're the sports card investor. They get a couple boxes of allocation and they think they know everything. Whereas you and I have receipts from our wholesale business 20 years ago. So I'd be out of this company. I'd stop buying their products. Not that Fanatics is fucking Jesus Christ, but compared to Panini, fucking they're God and Jesus Christ combined. So I'm done with Panini. I hope they go bankrupt. I hope they fold faster than the Titanic sinks, but I think this is just going to be a sinking ship. They'll continue to lure in people. People will still continue to promote them and buy their products, but then a lot of people are going to get redemptions. They're not going to get fulfilled, and the breaker and the community is just going to be like, oh, well. But, the real thing to do is to warn people about this kind of stuff a year, 2 years before it actually materializes. And that's what we're going to see over the next year or so with Panini.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't look good. I mean, a lot of the NFL license is going to drop off, the NBA, the NFLPA, the Basketball Players Association license is going to drop off. I believe they also lost WWE. So a lot of these, you're down to, like you said, FIFA, I don't know, the NASCAR situation, and then you get into second, third tier soccer leagues and Live Golf. You better hope you have those redemptions out of your account or anything valuable out of that account, because they're not going to be able to offer you anything in the near future, because this company's revenue is going to shut off like the water tap. I mean, they're going to go from hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue down to probably tens of million. That's going to be astonishing. And wow, like you said, I think we're just in the first couple innings of Panini going broke and the hobby having to deal with it. And we, at least in court documents, have some of their other business partners and peers around the industry certainly feeling like they are in financial trouble. But before we get into everybody's favorite group breaker, Mama Breaks, let's take a look. Jeff Wilson has not come along and bid on this Lorcana lot of 183 graded cards. And I don't know. Those will move. I'm not high bid on this anymore. I'm starting to lose track of where we're at. We're at $400 for 700 cards. The Jeter lot with the gold mantle bush. Willie Mays holding steady at $3,300. Luka Doncic, $140 for a PSA 9. I bet these were like 1,000 at one point.
Oh, maybe raw they were 1,000.
Yeah, for real. Well, we can get into that if you want, because before we get into everybody's favorite breaker, Mama Breaks, everybody's hobby hero for a couple years there, especially the hobby positivity crew, was Mr. Gary V. And I'm sure everybody will be trying to go up to him at the National and get a little selfie with him and pretend like they've never said anything bad about him. But I do want to bring up a little receipt here from over 4 years ago. And I believe that Gary V was the pumper in chief for Mr. Luka Doncic. That's right. For one of the first times, it wasn't Jeff Wilson who was leading the charge pumping somebody. It was actually Gary V. And he wasn't really doing it on YouTube, but he was doing it on other places on social media, specifically Twitter, where he has a very large following. And 4 years ago, he put out a tweet saying he was buying Luka Doncic Optic PSA 10 cards for $350 a pop. He said email him and he would be purchasing them. What do you think that card is? He was offering $350. What do you think that card is worth today? That card, ladies and gentlemen, is only worth $150 before selling fees. So if you listen to Gary V, which a lot of people did, you'd be down at least $200 on your Luka Doncic investments. These cards got as high. I mean, these cards got so high.
So maybe he bought them for $3 and flipped them.
I mean, if you were in and out of these cards fast, you actually could have made some significant amount of money. The problem is not a lot of people did that.
I don't think, yeah. There's this fantasy of people out there. Oh, well, if you bought Luka early and you made money, No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because as they went up, you probably bought more. And I see it all the time in the investment world with crypto and all this stuff. You don't end up selling at the top. Almost nobody buys at the bottom and then sells at the top. In fact, most people did the opposite. They bought when Gary Vee was kind of pumping these things. And yeah, it looked like they did like triple. But everybody was buying during that time. There wasn't a lot of selling. There wasn't a lot of volume. And there's a lot of people, for every person that bought this low and then flipped it, there's like 10 people that paid like $800 for this card. That's worth like $120 before fees.
It got as high as $1,100 shortly after that tweet, just a few months after that tweet. You could see the tweet was like right in here, and then boom, it literally exploded upwards. Gary Vee was definitely the pumper in chief for Luka Doncic. There were some other fringe influencers who were green around the ears and made Luka Doncic content. And who, like you said, there's nobody who could sit here, look you in the face, and said, I made a ton of money on Luka Doncic. Because what they did is then they went out and bought Trae Young, or they went all in on Ja or Zion. Not a lot of people just cashed out. They thought the good times would keep on rolling. If not with Doncic, another investment in the sports card world. And it just hasn't happened. These cards literally haven't moved. They're down 29% just in the last 2 years. Just in the last 3 months, when you think, hey, Luka Doncic made it to an NBA Finals, they're still down 11%. So this was not a very good take from Gary Vee. And this is the type of thing that influences people. You get people in the hobby who come out, they essentially put a floor on something. The card skyrockets in value, and the inevitable decline happens over a number of years. And so if you have taken the advice of Gary Vee, if you have lost money on your Luka Doncic cards, you can certainly call the CB hotline, cbhobby.com hotline, and share your story. We do have somebody calling in. It is the real Dave Snyder. Maybe he has some Luka Doncic cards.
Hell no.
Dave, what do you got for us tonight?
Hell no. I don't collect new guys. Speculation up, down. No thanks. I'll pass. Dead guys are the best investment no matter what.
And what do you got for us tonight? You investing in some dead guys? You investing in Bill Belichick's new girlfriend? What do you got going on?
No, you know what? I keep chasing the great urinator. I can't seem to get a comment into that guy's IG stuff at all. He never he limits everything. So you can't comment on his stuff. It's just so annoying. Besides that, as far as collecting, I mentioned something in the chat. It makes no sense. Wait till a year is done, let everything drop out, and then go pick up all your stuff that you really want, because then the speculation's over. Like after these releases are done being bought up by all the idiots, spending double, triple, quadruple, whatever the prices are for packs or breaks or you know what, guys? I have one question. Where did we lose the concept of opening our own fucking packs? Why do we have to have somebody else open our packs for us? And when did it become a hobby of letting somebody else look at the card and tell you what the real grade is and value? I used to joke about you guys saying used card salesmen were selling us cards, and would you buy a car from any of these idiots? I'm sorry, but I'm not buying a car from some guy wearing a half shirt. It's not going to happen, and it won't ever happen. I've been in this hobby as a collector. Hand up, I fondle cards. I'm sorry. It's just something I do, and I'm not afraid of it. I don't hide behind DMs and Instagram posts and everything. I put my face out there. I might get roasted for all I care, but it doesn't matter to me. 40 years of doing this. I was an 8-year-old when Alex Tidy of the Buffalo Sabres gave me my first ink, and I've been hooked ever since. So that's all I got to say. You can kick me off and talk about what I said, or don't. It's okay with me. I'm fine.
So what I would say is I'm fine with breakers and half shirts if it's like Bill Belichick's new girlfriend. Her in a half shirt breaking cards, and I'm buying, guys. I'm buying. Or
Well,
I think we're referring to Mr. Nicky Rips, who I actually like a lot now, and who I think has I don't think he was that bad at backyard breaks, but I follow his content, and I just think I think we're seeing in some cases like kids, and I call them kids. It's not that young, but it's like I think we're seeing kids grow up, and I like guys like this. But I agree. I think there is a certain demographic these days that needs somebody to hold their hand. They're still living at home with mom. They still need mom and dad to pay their cell phone bill. They still need mom and dad to, maybe send them a couple of bucks for rent. Some of them are not even sure what gender they are. They need somebody to kind of like tell them that. They need the government to tell them who to vote for and those types of things. And so I think we're a product of society, and it's reflected in the trading cards, where you need somebody to open the cards for you. You need somebody to then tell you what grade it is. Then you need somebody to tell you how valuable it is. Then you need to send it to a consignor and have them sell it for you. And that's where we're at in this hobby. Nobody wants. Wait. If you do grade it, you need to send it to a group submitter. You can't even send your own fucking cards to PSA yourself. You have to send it to a group submitter. Wait, though. If you send it to one of these influencer group submitters, they actually send it to another group submitter. Then it goes to PSA. Then it goes back to the middleman, then back to the influencer. And then finally you get your picture of man where another man has graded it on a scale of 1 to 10.
Wonderful
hobby.
If it even makes it back to you.
Exactly. Because through that chain of command, needless to say, things do slip through the cracks, if you will.
Because he's all about the vibes.
All about the vibes, baby. I'm all about the vibes as well.
Holy. All right, gentlemen, I'm bailing.
All right.
Thank you for the couple of seconds for me to vent. Okay. I just wish everybody else, these other guys would jump on and not be so afraid to have their face up here. I don't know. I'm kind of addicted to it, but anyway, peace, brother. See ya.
Peace. Thank you, Dave. Not all are real men like Dave and can come on and show their face. A lot of them, like you said, are on shared Wi-Fi, and they can't have mom seeing them on sports card radio. That would, degrade the family name a little bit. But yeah, we have our boy Nicky Rips with the cake breaks. I do like some of the stuff that they're doing these days. I don't know how good business is, but seems like they're always having fun, which I think is more like, you look at like Leighton sports card, dude looks like he's aged like 20 years in like 5. That guy who is Filthbomb breaks, this motherfucker doesn't even look like he slept in like a week. You know what I mean?
That was one of the things that Cards Infinity talked about, was the stress, just how stressful this is.
You motherfuckers look stressed. Whereas I'm looking at caked breaks and I'm like, fuck, that looks like fuck breaking cards. Let's go hang out in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, this actually looks like they're having fun, and so that's what I appreciate about, there's my boy Ocho. So that's what I appreciate about these guys, is they look like they're having a good time. they're doing more than just breaking cards. And I know it's like Instagram, and so you like, you find you share only the pristine and best moments or whatever. But these guys look stressed when I see them. When we go to some of these cards events, I'm like, damn, that breaker looks like he's like hasn't stopped working. You know what I mean? So it's like Seabless sweating one of his parlays. I mean,
I lived in that building behind them actually for a little while there. Little Las
Beautiful
Vegas
location
action
there.
It certainly is.
We'll be there in October.
Yeah, so certainly interesting situation with Mr. Gary V and his pumping. And the issue with group breakers. Should we get into Mrs. Mama Breaks
Okay.
and the controversy surrounding her? I don't know if you saw this.
I saw this through AIH. So AIH did a couple of videos, and I think he did some posts on Instagram. So I appreciated those posts. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have seen it.
So I'm going to play this video, but I'll play it with sound. And she is opening 2024 Top Series 2 baseball before it comes out. They call it like a pre-release. She's doing so on Fanatics Live. And full context, this was a 15-hour break. This was
15 hours.
I literally tried to find literally 15 hours. So no one's going to give a shit.
Breaking the whole time?
No, some dude came on about halfway through and started breaking.
Okay.
But I believe the total time on camera was like 15 hours. Absolutely insanity. Pure insanity. I tried to find the original clip. I couldn't find it. It certainly wasn't within the first few hours of the break. So I don't think this was a loaded box situation. But what some people are wondering is, did she see the Jackson Holliday card sitting on the counter in front of her as she was starting to talk about that? Why don't I play the clip with sound? Hopefully this goes good. Let's roll the clip of Mama.
So Topps did a whole, if anybody's watching for the first time here, Topps is doing an homage to Bill Ripken, to the famous F-face Bill Ripken bat knob.
I can't hear.
Error card. And oh!
This is some audio failure, I think.
I can hear it.
You can hear it?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I can't hear it.
Are you kidding me? This is nuts.
So what happened there is she was opening the product. She was explaining that there was this Jackson Holliday fuckface kind of homage card in it. It's sitting there on the break mat in front of her. She apparently didn't notice it. She pulls the Jackson Holliday. Some people are saying that she's kind of faking the excitement or faking it here. I'm not really sure. I think context is important here. It was a 15-hour break. This was several hours in. Could it have been a coincidence? Didn't we see a couple weeks ago, we played a clip of Backyard Grant Telford calling that he was going to pull a gold, don't call him Giannis Antetokounmpo card out of a pack, and then he literally pulled it. I mean, he called the card that he was going to hit, then he hit it. This was a situation where she was talking about the card while it's lying there on the break mat in front of her. Then she shows it to the audience, and then she says, oh, wow, this is amazing. What are your thoughts on Mama Break? Is she acting here, or was this a genuine reaction?
So yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen her on video other than this week, or maybe it was last week. You followed, what was her name? Mary Gamble, I think. So we followed Mary Gamble on Instagram. And so I'm on Instagram, and one of the first things that pops up is Mary Gamble. And I think they're at a card shop. It might have even been Burbank Card Shop or whatever. And so I think that was like maybe the first time I'd ever seen Mama Breaks talk. And it was only for like, so there she is. And so like, this is the only time I've ever seen her on video. The only time I've ever really seen her is in on the Topps card or whatever. And maybe I've caught maybe just a moment or two of like an interview she might have done with Topps or maybe on a podcast or something like that. So I'm not really, I tell you, I have to go off what AIH Sports said. And maybe he watches her more than I do. Maybe he knows her style more. I think people in the chat are saying that she's kind of maybe low key might be the polite term. We try not to, I mean, we like the females over here, so we try not to degrade them too much. The chat, though, you can say whatever what you want about us or anybody. So don't feel like you need to censor yourself a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. So I don't know enough about her. I don't know. Like, people are saying she's kind of low key. I didn't watch the stream. It's God knows 15 hours. I think I do know she used to be a teacher. I don't know, Ryan. Teacher salary in some parts of the country aren't that bad. 15-hour break seems like pretty high amount of work. It is obviously kind of feeds into the quote conspiracy theory that these people are calling their shots and then they're pulling the cards. This is, I don't think, necessarily a super valuable card. I could be completely wrong about that, but this card, if people are paying a lot of money for this card, I'm check your pulse again, and it wouldn't surprise me. But people need to check their pulse, because isn't this guy still in AAA, or is he back in the majors?
Oh, no, not only is he's in AAA, Colin, he's on the injured list in AAA as well.
So again, this is another one of these guys that you've been told to buy, because if you just go off of the facts, Ryan, take his name off, and I know he has a dad that played and was successful, so there's more to the story here than meets the eye. But you've been told by Baseball of America probably that this is a top prospect. You've been told by other influencers. I'm sure Jeff Wilson has done Jackson Holliday content. In fact, I know he's been buying his card and holding them for some reason. As a sports card dealer, that seems incredibly rare. But this is a guy who, now granted, looks like he's only 20 years old. And when I was 20 years old, Ryan, I mean, I was doing things, but I wasn't doing things in the MLB, needless to say. But he's batting .059. He's got an .059 average. It looks like in AAA earlier this year, he batted .270. He had sensational numbers, it appears, before that, but on a limited amount of games and plate appearances. So certainly not anything that, a huge track record of success. And you say that he's in AAA and he's injured. Now take Jackson Holliday off. Take the fact that he's the new golden boy of the hobby and substitute his name for anybody else. And I don't think his cards are necessarily worth this much. If he's some Puerto Rican that doesn't speak English and no one's ever heard of, and is his cards worth this much? Probably not. You know what I mean? Probably not. But that's what this hobby relies on, is a lot of hype. And the card companies, they jump on the hype train influencers, they get on the hype. And then we have a situation where there's a 15-hour break, and the one interesting card that they pull is a kid who's not even in the MLB, who has a .059 career average and is in the minor leagues and is actually hurt. So no wonder why we have breakers like Cards Infinity hanging it up. If this is what you can pull, and this is what people are paying, it looks like 70, 80. That one went for $200.
Yeah, they're in the 200 to 300 range.
I mean, good God. I mean, people are insane. This is, This is a $22 card this time next year. He could come up to the major leagues later in the year, get a late season call up, get healthy. I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm paying attention to 20-year-olds, but they're not male baseball players. So thank you. These are the 20-year-olds that I'm a little more in tune with. But again, in the hobby, everybody's in tune with these 20-year-old baseball players that and again, it is exactly the same as Luka Doncic. Everybody, Ryan, was telling everybody, Luka Doncic is a generational talent. He's going to win multiple MVPs. He's going to win multiple championships. And instead of buying into it, I turned on the TV. And I can't tell you how many people said, oh, you must not know much about basketball. You must not know much about basketball. Even though like half of my life revolved around fantasy basketball. And like pretty much that's all I did for several years was give a shit about fantasy basketball. Somehow I don't know anything about the game of basketball, even though I've probably watched more NBA games than most people have, combined in their whole life. I've seen a ton of great players in my life, and I turned on the TV and I watched Luka Doncic, and I said, well, okay, for every step back three he makes, he misses two. So he's kind of a mid 30% shooter from the 3-point line, which in today's NBA is not good enough. And he's a terrible defender. He's a terrible defender. And more recently, he's gotten completely out of shape. And that's what I saw. But everybody in this hobby just buys into what you're being told. You're told this is a generational talent right here. So far, Ryan, we're sitting here right now. Everybody watching in the chat has the same amount of MVP awards and the same amount of NBA titles as Luka Doncic has. And here we are. What is this? He's moving into what, his 7th year in the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody watching tonight has the exact same amount of MVP awards and NBA championships. And I pointed that out to somebody on Twitter, and they started talking about all NBA and all-star teams and things that nobody gives a shit. I mean, they might not even play the all-star game. They might not even play the all-star game anymore in the NBA. That's how little making the all-star team actually matters in the NBA. But here's a guy moving to the back half of his NBA career, hasn't figured out how to get in shape, hasn't figured out how to play defense. And in our experience, Ryan, over 30 years watching the NBA, well over 30 years watching the NBA, I don't see players halfway through their career start figuring out how to play defense and start getting in shape. In fact, it's actually the opposite. If you're not in shape by your 7th year in the NBA, just wait another 3 or 4 years, and you're going to look like fucking Kendrick Perkins here in a minute. So here we are with Jackson Holliday. People already giving him the triple crown, already fucking giving him the third, the third batting slot in the Orioles lineup. Motherfucker comes up and he can't even hit the ball. Now, could he come back and do well? The hobby doesn't have a great history for that. If you come up and then you get sent down and you come back, it's not as good the next time, the second time around. It just isn't. You talked about Elliot Ramos, who I think has come up, got sent down, come up. He's doing well, but I'm not seeing Mama Breaks. I'm not seeing Card Collector 2. I'm not seeing anybody outside of the San Francisco area talk about this guy. Nobody cares. Like literally nobody cares.
Nobody.
And he's 24. But he's having a great season. What is he batting? 310?
310. He just hit his 10th home run.
I mean, that's and he wasn't in the lineup
in 38 games.
In 38 games. Yeah, he looks great. He looks great to me. He looks like Pablo Sandoval's cousin or something. If they can get a little bit of pitching on that team, we could do something. So, but nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. But Jackson Holliday is white. He has a dad that people know. He's young. And so this is who you're being told to collect. This is who you're supposed to collect. And there's going to be people in the chat that are like, and people watching that are going to be like, oh, well, I don't do this. The thing is is this is how they're 10xing the hobby. Is they're telling you what to buy, they're telling you what to collect, and some people might even be saying that they're planting those cards that they're telling you to collect onto the preview boxes, onto the mama breaks, onto the backyard breaks, and those types of things. But again, shout out to AIH Sports for posting the video. Otherwise, I wouldn't have saw it. A 15-hour stream. Come on, even if Mama Breaks is doing it, even if Bill Belichick's girlfriend's doing it, I can't stay there for 15. So
yeah, I'd love that. I'd love to know the economic model behind being on stream for 15 hours and then having to sort multiple cases of Series 2 Jumbo. I mean, these people are working 24 hours a day. It seems like. Whew. Man, I'm glad I'm not on that schedule. Let me tell you that much right now. We ain't working that hard over here at Sports Card Radio. My God, could you imagine if we went live every day, even for like 4 or 5 hours a day? It would just, good Lord, at some point you just, man, you burning out like our boy over at Cards Infinity. Maybe he just kind of burned out on it and was like, I'm out of here. This is too much for me. So we'll see. Interesting situation. Again, not the last time we're going to be playing clips from breakers. Not the last time we're going to be examining Miss Mama Breaks, perhaps. But we are still high bid. It looks like on the Lorcana collection. I'm sure Jeff Wilson's happy about that. Potentially high bid maybe on this 72 partial set. If that's got some of the high numbers, that'd be even better. The Jeter lot with the gold Jeter Mantle Bush.
yes, I think with just those two cards, you're at $152, right?
The raw SP, I'm thinking 50 maybe. That's a wild guess.
Not after you trim it.
Not after you trim it, correct. Now the Jeter Mantle Bush gold, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'd literally have to look it up because I have no idea.
Okay, here we go. Live. This is how you figure out if you're gonna make money on these cards or not. $150. I knew that thing was like
$150 card.
Yeah, that's rare. They're not gonna come up for sale that much.
It's a super rare card.
And it's just I sold a George Bush card this week. So
PSA 8 for a bill.
Yeah, I think as you move into the electric cycle too, just obviously the Bush family is probably gonna make some news maybe a little bit or just be in the news. And so a card like that, it's gonna, fond memories or whatever. Like I bought the Bush card. This was 3 or 4 months ago. I mean, I only made like 15% on it or whatever, but there it is. I mean, yeah, I think you pay up for whatever a Jeter raw that could be kind of dinged up, and then that gold, and then everything else is your profit. That's how I would look at a lot like that.
This is a gold one too. We're down here. That's probably 10,
yeah,
$15.
That's easy.
So kind of cool.
Stuff doesn't come up for sale that much. Doesn't come up for sale that much. Now is that a Jeter man or is that is Bush Bush and Mantle? Okay, yeah. So I see it. Yeah, so that's a good one. That's a good one.
Well, there you go. I think there's always opportunities in these larger lots that, people just want to buy a single card. They want to buy a card of Willie Mays. They want to buy a card of Luka Doncic. They don't want to mess with all these cards and have to deal with them, but certainly some room on the bone there probably. So we'll probably get outbid on that, but pretty nice situation there. Again, this Ronald Acuna card was at one point a $3,000 plus card.
People were told to collect this guy too. I mean, this was the guy to collect, him and Soto and what's his name, Tatis. I mean, Tatis, that was who you bought. Junior. That's who you bought, and Franco.
Yeah. I think you made a good point that nobody outside of diehard Orioles fans would be collecting Jackson Holliday right now if you weren't being told to collect him. If you weren't, they weren't pushing him out to you. You would not be spending $300 on his cards.
No way.
Even if you objectively looked at his numbers, I mean, they're nice numbers, but maybe he's not a power hitter. Maybe he's more of an average hitter. Maybe he'll never develop the way people want.
Maybe he ends up like 99% of baseball players. And that maybe he has a career like his dad. And what was his dad's name? I mean, his dad's cards ain't worth shit.
And Matt Holliday had a nice career.
He did.
I mean, if he had his dad's career, he'd be lucky.
Yes.
7,000 at bats.
299.
He had a 36, 137 RBI season. Second in MVP voting in 2007.
I mean, this guy was always in shape. That's what I remember about him. He was always in shape. Maybe he was on the sauce. I don't know. But this dude was always in shape.
I mean, yeah, he was on the sauce, but he had 316 home runs and 1,200 RBIs. 299 batting average. I mean, if his son had this career, that would be fucking incredible. Now his cards would be worth a lot less because you guys have priced in 760 home runs and multiple World Series and multiple MVPs, and you guys are treating him like he's Willie fucking Mays. That's the expectation, but goddamn, if he even approaches what his father did in the league, he had an amazing career. But I think people are expecting a lot more, certainly when you look at his card prices. 44 WAR player. I mean, this Matt Holliday was incredible. Aside from his slide on our boy Marco Scutero, which we won't hold him against him because we won the ring. So
here's the deal, though. I think the key, though, is we know Matt Holliday. We know Jackson Holliday. What's the other lineage here? What's Mrs. Holliday like? I mean, are we working with what kind of merchandise are we working with here? Because this is, to me, this is maybe more critical. Okay. All right.
I think this is probably right here. Okay. That's Jackson's mom right there, probably.
All right. Okay.
The Holliday family.
Looks like a beautiful.
Did you see who was sitting courtside at the Mavericks Celtics final? It would look like Mr. Rubin and his daughter was sitting courtside. I don't know if you saw that.
I may or may not be following his daughter on Instagram, so I may have seen that.
One thing I was happy to see is I think when we shouted out Mary Gamble, she was like at 6,700 followers on Instagram. Now she has 7,300 followers.
She's probably wondering where it came
from. It's about fucking time.
Thank God.
Because I think what's his name, Rothgard, still has X amount of 88,000 followers or whatever it is.
Yeah, we need to jack this up.
Rothgard's has 37,000 followers.
Well, how many are real? How many likes is he getting on just a random post?
Good point.
You should check.
But
you should go see on the second latest post.
Her second latest post
for Roth.
For
Rothgards, yeah.
Luka
Doncic?
No, that's a pin post though.
This one?
People love seeing pictures of men, Ryan.
I know.
They'd rather see a man posting his other pictures of men than Mary Gamble.
Mary Gamble. I mean, the hobby never ceases to amaze me that a girl like this has, 5x less followers than Rothgard's.
By percentage, she has way less likes per post.
Well,
we're going to try
at least some order is restored in the hobby. But you can walk around one of these Cleveland Nationals here in a couple weeks, and maybe you can see why people would rather watch Rothgard's than Mary Gamble.
Maybe.
So it'll be the white cultural event that is happening in a few weeks in Cleveland. You'll see why those guys would rather follow.
Ryan, we have a phone in. CB Hobby hotline is live and active. It looks like we have Mr. Mike, not Mike Smith, but Mike Smith on the line. How are we doing, sir?
What's up, fellas? How's the I'm trying to use the promo code.
Yes.
Use the promo code exactly. Will Greer.
I'm working on the echo here, fellas. I'm sorry about the audio, but I did want to talk New York City.
You have to mute your other
Let's
word.
sort this out, and I'll call back in. Is that fair?
Okay, that's fair.
Yep.
He is going to sort out his audio issues. We also have calling in here probably in 10 or 15 minutes. Jimmy B, Sports Collection Services. He actually wanted me to play his intro video before. This has amazing sound to it. But you know, I in the life of every champion, I love how he cuts the hymn. So this should be tremendous. James Bray from Jimmy B Sports Collection Services. 4 subscribers. We are now one of them. I invited him onto the program to talk about not only sports cards, but apparently he has a plan to return Ty Beanie Babies to their former glory.
Oh.
So we're
you are gladly helping him pump his.
you goddamn right. We're gonna pump that shit.
Jimmy B's in the queue, Ryan. Are you rocking?
Are we ready for Jimmy B, or are we gonna let Mike go back?
Oh, hold on. Can we put a time limit on the Beanie? Unless I mean, if the chat is loving it, I mean, by all fucking means. But
we're gonna ask him one question. We're gonna, yeah, exactly. Should we just watch Mary Gamble reels for the rest of the night?
Very good idea. There are other females too that I'll work a little harder. Maybe we'll get them on the program. But there actually is a line of females trying to get on the program. Hold on, I think we have Mike. Let's go Mike, and then we'll go Jimmy.
Okay.
Sorry, Jimmy, you're gonna have to wait. Mr. Smith, how are you?
What's up there, fellas?
We're good.
How we doing?
We're good.
Rocking and rolling. So let's talk New York City. So the Pendry, that's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
where we're at.
What are you making of all this news of the Fanatics Fest actually going to have tables there? It sounds like, but very selective. Like they're making you basically like submit or audition basically to get a table at Fanatics Fest.
Yeah, I think anybody that's going there for like a national sports card collectors convention experience, I wouldn't go. To me, it's like, if you want to look at a bunch of pictures of men and go table to table and be fondling them and have dime boxes and all this stuff, go to Cleveland, because that is a gigantic venue and there's going to be a lot of that there and you're going to have a great time. But, you know, it might be a struggle getting to and from the event, might be a struggle finding an air flight in and out, those types of things. Fanatics Fest, I think, is going to be a little different. I think it's just going to be more of like, I didn't go to one of the events and there was that Mint show in Vegas. We never made it to one of those. I think it's going to be more like a conference / kind of an event versus, you know, it's going to be a place where, for example, we're going to go and we're going to, like, I already have like 4 or 5 people that are lining up. We're going to meet. We're going to maybe meet at the event. Maybe it's dinner afterwards. Maybe it's more than that. And so that's what we're going to do. And I think that's more, and for some people, that's not what they want to do. They want to show up to these things and buy cards. This, I think you're going to show up and it's going to be more like a conference. It's going to be
that's what I found interesting, is that there actually will be apparently tables there, right? But it's going to be some like, more curated version of like what the ideal like card show table is, just as representation almost of like what a whole, Topps Fanatics like experience is when it comes to cards.
And I don't have a problem with that. If it's more like a booth at a like, you go to these conferences and there's a booth and some of them you can sit down and some of it is, they got music playing and some of it is more promotional rather than trying to actually sell something. I don't mind that. I'm not, like if I want to go to a card show, for most people, this is the case. There's usually one on the weekend, at least once or twice a month, maybe even every weekend, 30 miles away, 40 miles away. Like, to me, if I want to go to a card show, I'll do that. If I'm going to travel a significant distance, I'd want to go to something like Fanatics Fest.
All right, so travel. So
yes,
when you first booked the trip, you were saying, "Oh, the subway." The subway is not a problem, man. It's unless you're taking it at 4 a.m. Yeah, that's not for you. But in the day, you gotta if you're not at the Javits Center and you're trying to like enjoy New York City, you gotta maximize your time. And taking a car everywhere is not the way to do it. I'm just saying, in terms of like what to expect in that regard.
Taking the subway with like $25,000 in cards, though.
Well, okay, I get that part, but I'm saying I'm talking about like when you're not like traveling around like with car. If you're going to the fucking Rolex store, if you're just trying to get to Midtown, like on the east side, like maybe you take a quick crosstown train, then you get in a car. Otherwise, you're going to spend so much money on cars. But if that's not an issue, then rock it out.
I mean, I'll have a $40,000 watch on. I don't know if I want to ride the subway.
I hear you, but you're not the only one who does. I mean, I get it. I just don't want you to be so, you're talking about pepper spray and knives when you were first bringing it up. Come on. Like, to a certain degree, yes, but it's not like, you keep your head up and you just do your thing. Like, you're not going to be in any situation unless it's just like 3 a.m. and you're alone, and that's not going to happen. So I just want you to ease off on any of that sort of like, oh, New York City is going to be this or that.
It's not Atlantic City. Like the National made everybody go to Atlantic City, and
oh my God,
what was it last year? So you're saying it's a little safer than Atlantic City?
It's a lot more safe than the impression I got when you guys first said you were coming here. Is basically what I'm getting at. So I want to ease that sort of thing.
I mean, here's the deal, though. We're from Stockton. For me, standard.
Now, I'm from Southern California, and I know how people react in New York City for their first time, which apparently it is for you guys the first time.
Standard issue for me is a Glock, and so I walk around. I'll be honest with you. I walk around with a Glock every day, and it doesn't. It's like, for some people, it's like, oh my God. But after a while, it's like wearing a pair of socks,
So,
like,
well, I mean, I understand that, wanting to be prepared and having everything you can to feel as prepared as a Glock would make you feel prepared. To that degree, I would ease off on that. Of course, it's in the back of your mind. Don't keep it, to quote Dan the Cardman, front of mind.
I guess we also have to be careful. It's not only the citizens of New York City that could pose a problems for us, but we've got a wide range of haters.
Yeah, it's fair.
That, we've certainly been threatened over the years various times. So it's nice to come in a little hot, just in case one of these fanboys of Mojo Sports or fanboys of Jeff Wilson
I get it.
wants to come up and slap us with a flip-flop. They might get slapped with a little something else. So I think there's a little bit of that.
Like out of towners to me is what I'm getting at. Like it's all good, like, for like the majority of an experience.
I totally agree. It's probably in a good area of New York City, and unless you're getting far off the beaten path or you're going down to Atlantic City, you're probably going to stay safe. I certainly wouldn't have a problem taking the subway, but then again, I don't have a $40,000 watch on, and I probably won't be carrying expensive cards. So if it means saving 10, 20, 30 minutes, yeah, I certainly might jump on the subway as opposed to sit in the back of an Uber and sit in traffic.
And $20, $30 every time you're getting in a car. And then the congestion pricing might be in. That's $15 just to get in the car down there.
Well, thanks to cbhobby.com, promo code Real Greer. Our money situation's getting a little better over here at Sports Card Radio. So everybody go use that promo code over on cbhobby.com. You got any other thoughts about the Fanatics Fest? Anything you wanted to tell us? Anything we should be, worried about?
No, other than hearing also at the same time, the National doing this, like in terms of like selling off these old school tables, but then like not really like saying who could maybe have the next table. That was an interesting dynamic in terms of Top saying, oh yeah, we're going to have tables and we're doing it this way. And then the National saying, well, we're stopping all the old stuff from what, that happened this week too. But that's basically it. The primary focus was New York City is going to be dope and feel more at ease than you might expect. Because you guys are smart guys. You know what you're doing. Just keep your head up and do your thing. I'll let you go.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We definitely appreciate it. And we're certainly looking forward to this. We will be at Fanatics Fest. Then we will be at the Burbank Sports Card Show. Then we will be at the Auburn Trading Card Show.
Oh, man.
So we've got a busy.
Thank God I got fired. I'm going to be able to go to all this and actually enjoy myself.
No kidding. So we've got a lot. Before we get Jimmy B on the program, let's check and see. These auctions start extended bidding at 7. So I got outbid on Lorcana. I'm going to have to kick this up to a rack.
What?
For 183 card. It's 183 graded cards. Some of them are 10s. Come on.
I hear you.
I think I'm high bid on the partial set. I don't know if these have high numbers or not. If these included the high numbers, I mean, probably a good deal on that.
718. There's got to be a few in there.
Unless it's missing all the high numbers. This Derek Jeter lot, I blew the cover on the Derek Jeter lot, so that's going to sell.
Everybody ran and got it. I swear we could run like a service. We should run like a service wherever you like. What I would do is like I've thought about this, where you have like a newsletter and you don't let it be one of these newsletters where everybody can sign up. It's a specific small number of dealers, and then you go and curate deals for them. You say, hey, look at this lot. Because I find these Michael Jordan lots on eBay where it's like, it's once or maybe once a week where it's like, oh shit, that card right there is worth 50. And this lot will probably only sell for 50. And so you're getting all the other cards for free, basically. And so a similar thing like with this Jeter, where you're going to pay up for the foil, you'll pay up for the Jeter Mantle Bush. And look, if it's in nice condition, if these aren't completely fucked, you could send it to PSA and maybe, get even more money. Maybe not on the SB, but the Jeter Mantle Bush certainly could be a candidate. But, there you go.
You can see it's chipped.
The SCR Discord could be good for that.
There you go. $20 a month, baby. You make your money back the first month of membership. So
certainly very interesting. Actually, the Jeter Mantle Bush card, that's one of the few cards that made it on CNN. And people want to talk about hype. I mean, we talk about the Jackson Holliday card. This card in 2007, was it 07? Yeah, 2007. Oh my God, dude. Like there was literally it was on CNN. Like you could find the news clips of people talking about this particular card and what Topps did, and it was driving all these sales to the box. I think the boxes got as high as like $100, $125, which in 2007 was massive. I mean, they pre-sold probably for like 45 or 50.
Yeah, I think
so
it was
like
45.
double, triple in price for a Series 1 box is just out of control. So certainly one of the most iconic cards in modern history that people don't actually talk about a lot. But as you can see, the gold version of that card wouldn't pay for this entire lot, but it would get pretty close. And then when you throw in the other cards, there's probably still money to be made, even at $210. It's getting a little thin, but probably I don't know about these other cards. There's a whole nother set of cards here. So certainly money to be made. But I enjoy buying, lots like this. Piece out the single cards, lot up the other ones, run an auction, boom, on to the next one. So you can run through these cards and collections fairly fast, and you don't have to be sitting on these cards. But we certainly heard about Fanatics Fest and what we need to be aware of.
I'm still not taking the subway. Come on. Come on. I don't know what it is. It's an East Coast thing. Out here on the West Coast, first of all, we don't have subways. There's like the Bart, but it's like the Scrubs, ride Bart. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like Scrubs ride subways. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like you get an Uber black car or you get whatever and you get in the back of it. And if it's slow, whatever, I've got 90 million fucking messages I've got to respond to. Extra 30 minutes in traffic is not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? And then, I don't have to worry about anything, That's just, I don't know. Hold on, we got another. Sorry, Jimmy. You were making you earn your spot here. 231 cards. I think he's muted.
Hold on. Now you're at. Oh.
Again, this is cbhobby.com bringing you 231 cards. Thank you.
You're muted. You're muted. 231.
He has a sick mustache. Oh, he's gone.
Oh,
okay, Ryan, why don't you get Jimmy B up here?
We got our boy, Jimmy B, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, fellas? Thank you so much for having me on the show. This is my intro. Thank you for having me. It's a real honor. I started watching you once you invited me on the show, and so I'm actually becoming a big fan. Sorry about the lighting. I'm on a camping trip in an undisclosed location, not 31 minutes away from my house. So I apologize for the lighting. I had to jimmy my phone and that, but I'm here, guys. Thank you.
So Jimmy, what's your deal with the sports card world? What's your connection to cards? What like how did you get into cards? What's your sports card story?
Well, I mean, I was a kid in the 90s. I got into cards back then, collecting rookies, and then, ending up with a bunch of stuff that was mass produced and stuff like that. And so after, like, I went into the Army, did a stint, like 2-year stint there. And then I sort of got out of the hobby, just because of all the mass production and them losing their value. But recently, back in August, I decided to, get back into the hobby because I saw that cards are now sort of exciting, one of ones, one of fives, autograph, on card letters. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So let me get into it. So I got into back the card collecting, and I sort of knew, like, okay, like authentication really is the way to go when getting your cards, graded by PSA or Beckett or any of those things. I started doing a little research on how to, tell if a card really is a 10. So I bought a loop, and, I've just really gotten into the hobby again. I find that it relaxes me. I have, I suffer from mental illness. So like, it just sort of keeps me focused, keeps me steady when I go through a stack of cards and I'm looking for something to grade or, something to put away. And then about 4 weeks ago, I started this business.
Wow. So this is new.
Yes, it's a brand new business. And what happened, I'll tell you the story of how everything happened. So when I first got back into card collecting, I'm like, it would be a really good idea to help people sell their collections who are sitting in the garage or whatever. Like, sure. Instead, I don't like people to get taken advantage of. And so I don't like when some card dealer goes out there and pays pennies on the dollar for a vintage collection and then flips it for tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I didn't like that. So I thought of a business that we would help people maximize the financial power of their collection. So what I do, basically, how it started, like, at first there was no interest, right? But I had a buddy. His name is Ken. Met him at the American Legion. He believed it.
Ken what? Ken what?
I can't really disclose last name. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know if he wants me to do that. So, anyway, so he started keeping track of what I've been doing in the collecting world, the cards that I've collected and stuff. Like, I like Harper tribute stamp of approval cards. If you're familiar,
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Yes, Bryce Harper stamp of approval cards. They're like my favorite card. simply because it's not like the generic, game use event season or whatever. You don't get this generic thing where they wore a jersey for 10 seconds and then they cut it and they put it in a card. Like, you get a game worn jersey that you can track to the actual game that it was used in,
Okay.
So
And how many of these do you have? How many Harper cards do you have?
Well, Harper cards, I have a lot of Harper cards. Like, I get base, I collect the base, I collect, stamp of approvals, Jersey Fusion. I know people think Jersey Fusion is a joke, but I really like them just because of the fact that you can scan a QR code and see what game it was actually used in.
What's Jersey Fusion?
Jersey Fusion is a company that basically they take cards, like a Topps card or something like that.
Oh, Jimmy, really?
Yeah,
Jimmy, we buying these? Jimmy, why are we buying these?
It's personal collection, right?
How much you spending on these? How much you spending on these? How much
have
you
you
spent on these?
I only have 2, and then I traded for another. That's it.
Oh man, I don't know about these ones.
I know. I get it. I get why people are afraid of it and don't like it. I just personally, I only
So
have.
you like them. You're feeling them
like
though.
them. I think it's okay that I can
right.
like them and have them for my personal collection. That's
Definitely.
so. And then I have a Harper 2012 Bowman gold refractor, PSA 10, numbered out of 250.
What's that worth? What's that worth?
260. So it's a PSA 10 numbered at a 250, and then it's graded a PSA 10. So population is 9 on it at PSA. I have a on-card autograph. I believe it's I forget what it was. It is. I would show you if I was at my house, but I'm not at my house. But it's an on-card 1 of 10 Bryce Harper auto in a Phillies uniform. I paid $225 for that one. And then I have a
like $2.25.
No,
Probably a little more than that.
Yeah, a little bit more than that.
So Jimmy, are you selling? You said you started a business trying to sell cards. Have you sold any cards? Do you have any clients yet to sell any of these cards?
I do have one client. You can go to my Facebook page and see how we're progressing through his collection. The other day we found a Reggie Jackson rookie that we think will grade a 6 to a 7, which goes for about anywhere from $300 to $500. That was like the big pull out of his vintage collection that we could find. But we found Hank Aaron. We found a number of Hank Aarons. We found a number of Bob Gibsons. We found Roberto Clementes. We found Steve Carlton in there.
Aren't you going to talk about Beanie Babies?
Well, you want me to talk about it now?
Getting there. Hang on.
Business?
So Jimmy, I became familiar with you because you posted. I have a fairly popular Beanie Babies Facebook group with 50,000 members, and you posted on there that you had an idea that would return Beanie Babies back to glory. You had a marketing plan.
Yeah, we do.
What is the marketing plan to return Thai Beanie Babies to their former glory? Certainly, I would be happy with that because I have a website and a Facebook group that would certainly benefit from something like that. But what is your plan for Thai Beanie Babies to return these things to their former glory?
Well, I can't tell you everything, but what I will
Jimmy,
say,
don't do that to me. Jimmy, don't do that to me. I want the whole thing.
I have to, because it's very sensitive. I will say this.
Oh my God, it's sensitive. Okay, explain this to me.
So we are creating prototypes for 5 new Beanie Babies that are going to blow your mind. Okay? They literally are. They will have star power. Okay? I know everybody thinks I'm a joke and whatever, but
Jimmy, wait a minute. How are you allowed to even make Beanie Babies? This would be like me saying I'm going to create some Topps cards or Disney Lorcana cards and put them onto the market. How are you even able to make Beanie Babies? Like how is this something even going to come to fruition?
Well, my hopes is once we release the ideas for the Beanie Babies, it will get some traction and Ty will want to buy our ideas.
Wow, Jimmy, that's what you have going on. Jimmy.
I'm just I believe in it. I have a bunch of other people who believe in
Jimmy.
it.
Terrible.
Like,
Terrible.
Jimmy, what I want you to do, this is what I want you to do. I want you to send me the pictures of these prototypes. I will examine them. But Jimmy, I thought we had something here. I thought we were talking business here. We got to get Ty Warner out of his luxury hotels to buy into this idea. Jimmy.
I know it's a risk. I do know it's a risk. This is just, I know it's a risk. I know I'm taking a big swing, but what my friends and family have said, the swing is worth it.
Jimmy, I want you.
How much are you spending on this?
Have you spent any money on this?
How much have you spent on this so far?
So
I
have an agreement to pay $6,000 for the prototype.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're lying.
No, I'm not lying.
6,000 to who? 6,000 to who?
I can't say who. Like it's 6,000 to an independent artist who is
what?
Yeah.
Did you already send the money? Did you already send the money?
Send the money already?
Oh, once we have transfer of images, we will send the money.
Jimmy, please talk to your boy. Do not send the money. Do not spend $6,000 on these things. Literally, you could probably buy a lifetime supply of Beanie Babies for $6,000 if you wanted to do that.
The last time you took a big swing, you ended up in that tent or what?
Damn, Tim's coming hard at you. Super producer Tim coming hard at our boy Jimmy B. But you're saying you're about to spend $6,000 on some prototype Beanie Babies, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, that is very true.
Jimmy, I want you to, after this show, I want you to reach out to me, sportscardshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this conversation offline. Let's make sure that we make smart financial decisions. And
that's fine. That's fine. Just understand there's only so much that I can tell you. And I will say this, we are producing the marketing video for the Beanie Babies. It will come out on a Thursday, the same day as your show. It will come out at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where we will release the prototypes. We will have 3D images ready for production.
I want to see them. I want to post them on my Facebook group, and maybe I'll make a video for my other channel. God damn, this video got 200,000 views. I should be over here making videos on this damn channel. Jimmy, you've been really gracious with your time. You definitely please reach out to me after the stream.
Can I do one little thing too? Just
go ahead.
I have a podcast. It's called Niner Nuts. We're on the
Niner Nuts.
Yep. We're on Shady Sports Network. Our sponsor is Royal Retros. So if you go to royalretros.com and type in Shady Sports promo code, you will get 10% off your entire order.
I love it.
My buddy Dan is my best friend. He's a 49ers fan. I'm an Eagles fan, but Dan has never seen the 49ers win a Super Bowl because it's been that long. Me, as an Eagles fan, I've seen my team win a Super Bowl. So I gave up my right for an Eagles podcast to do a podcast with my friend called Niner Nuts. We also have another person on the show. His name is Eric. He was a fan of the 49ers that we reached out to, who ended up being on the show. And then we liked them so much that we have him on the show now. So we have two 49ers fans and an Eagles fan.
Oh, well, we love it. We're season ticket holders with the 49ers. So we certainly appreciate the 49er love. Jimmy, please, you are not going to spend $6,000 on some prototype Beanie Babies. Let's talk here in the next couple days.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I appreciate you coming on the program and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This has really been great. Like I said, I started watching your show as soon as you invited me on. I really appreciate what you guys do and what you guys are doing in the sports card world. So I just, it's an honor really to be on your show. And so thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. We appreciate you. Guys, I'm in shock. He's about to spend $6,000 on some prototype Beanie Babies. And this would be like me saying I'm gonna spend $6,000 on some make some prototype cards to hope Michael Rubin will notice me and buy them. Boy, we've heard some bad business ideas. That one certainly is right at the top. I gotta try to make sure that Jimmy doesn't spend the 6 racks. I mean, certainly we could find somebody that looks similar to Mama Breaks or looks similar to Cam and Brink or looks similar to Bill Belichick's new girlfriend to spend 6 racks on.
You can charge them
my goodness.
You could charge them $3,000 for consultation and save them another $3,000.
I mean, my goodness. So hopefully we can talk Jimmy, off the ledge here. But he's in the sports card world, and he came over to my group here, which is apparently really toxic, according to all my members. About every other day, somebody posts something about here just trashing me, how I should moderate this group and kick this person off. But so we'll stay in tune to that. I did on our shorts channel, I did play Jimmy V's video where he was talking about this marketing strategy. I had no idea it involved $6,000 and making prototypes for brand new Beanie Babies. I'm in shock. I don't know. How did you feel? How did you feel about our boy Jimmy B?
Just give it to Jeff Wilson.
He might be able to make more money giving it to Jeff.
Let's go to 231. He's on the line. Mr. 231, how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Can you hear me this time?
I can hear you. Your mustache, how long you been working on that?
I mean, I shave it off now and again, but I've had it since 2018, probably. I think I was just in high school, so
there we go.
Well, I'd like to wish Jimmy best of luck on his adventure. I mean, I know he said he had a couple clients in his 4th week. I mean, I just had 3 clients buy off of me on eBay today, so shout out to Jimmy. But I was calling. I got some info on some shady breakers that I wanted to bring up. So
let's do it. Fire away.
Yeah, so I don't get on Whatnot often. Once in a while, I'll jump on there just to see what I can find for singles. I PC Detroit cards, so I'll jump on there looking for a deal. And if I see a breaker just getting, like, losing his ass, I'll just sit there and watch it. I find that somewhat entertaining, so if I have a minute, I'll do that. And I happen to jump into this stream by, it's called A Dude Hoops. So, creative name. I was watching him lose his ass on this break, and so I was bidding $1 on the auctions, and I happened to get a team in the break for $1. The dude was super pissed. He was talking to everybody in the stream like, "Come on, like, are you guys losers? You can't afford to get in?" Like shit like that. And I'm like, dude, fuck this guy. And I happened to get it for $1. And so the dude was pissed, but he rolled the wheel, and I got the Miami Heat, which is my little brother's favorite team. And so I was excited. You know, I told him, hey, I hit these cards. I hit one of the chaser cards. They have something similar to the Backyard's Nuke Nebula boxes. I don't know what they're called, but something similar to that. I got a card that sells for about $140. And this was back on June 5th that I got it. Okay. And so it's never been scanned into the post office. I've been messaging these guys, getting up in their lives and saying, hey, someone reach out to me in customer service. You know, no one's getting back to me. Everyone's, oh, yeah, like, I'll send a text out right now. The one dude pulled his phone out in front of the camera saying, hey, you know, I need a rep to get back to this guy. Well, shit, it's what's today, the 20th, and they still haven't got back to me. The one time I got in there, I was trying to get a hold of somebody, and they were running a giveaway, and I actually won that. So that was kind of funny. But that was on the 16th, and that's already shipped to my house. Meanwhile, the cards worth money haven't shipped to me. So I don't know what these guys are doing. I mean, they told me, like, we ship every day. They're trying to act like, you know, it was a mishap on the post office. But I've talked to some other people. I think this shit happens way too often. When they sell the spot for $1, I think they just keep whatever hit cards come out and then just tell Whatnot that it was a mishap with USPS. So, something to, I mean, like I said, I was just trying to fuck them over by getting a team for $1. But, yeah.
It looks. Go ahead, Colin.
So you think you bought into a break, you got it a little too cheap, obviously for $1. You got in cheap, and you're thinking that he pulled some cards and then he just didn't send them to you, and and he's expecting you maybe to go away or something.
Yeah, because every time I jump into these lives, they're like, "Oh yeah, man, like we'll get someone for you," and then ignore anything else that I say. So I've talked to a couple people that I see in their rooms, like when I'm trying to get a hold of them and trying to talk to someone on the live. I've like hit other people up that are asking like, "Hey, you know, I haven't received this," or "When are you guys going to ship this out?" And people are saying like the same thing, like something's up. So just someone to look. I mean, I have screenshots and everything. I'd be more than happy to send it to you on IG. But
are you able to reach out to Whatnot? What's the recourse? Like, can you contact Whatnot to have them look into it, or are you only able to contact the seller?
So I believe, I mean, I see people in the chat saying like, "Bro, it's $1." I get it, but there's been people fucked over for a lot more. So I just think it's kind of fucked up. But I think there is probably a way to get a hold of Whatnot. I was actually going to do so today, but then I was like, well, my favorite live is going live tonight, so I might as well jump in and see if I can talk to these guys. I mean, I watch you guys every week. I'm big fans of what you do. I'm not a fan of the hobby positivity. Whoever was saying he's a fan of New York, nah, I'm good on that. New York sucks. The Beanie Babies, bro, you got to think about what you're doing. But SCR, they know what they're doing. So
that's right.
Yeah, I know everybody's flaming me in chat. That's what I like about you guys is the chat is straight up. I know I'm coming in here bitching about $1, but it's like I mean, these guys are just straight D-bags. So
in Joe Biden's economy, every dollar counts, guys.
Well, that's just it. I mean, yeah, talking about New York isn't that bad, dude. Biden overloaded that place with illegals. Like, I'm not walking down the streets there, dude. I see way too much shit going on in the news. I'm good on that.
I hear you. I hear that, baby.
You got anything else for us, 231?
I'll also say, I'm not good with names, but like Luka sucks. Holliday sucks. I don't do them guys. I knew Luka was going to lose from the start. I'm surprised he made it that far.
Me too.
Not that anyone cares. These are the guys that I put money in. Melo, rookie auto out of 50.
Okay.
Alkaline out of 150. Like, these are just stuff that's going in my next order. Drew Brees out of 50. Calvin Johnson, RPA out of 10. Like, you guys can spend all the money you want on these shit-ass players that are never going to make it anywhere. I'm going to keep buying the guys that I like, and I'm going to make money off of it. So that's all I got to say. Other than that, everybody subscribe to SCR if you're not. And, let's go, Brandon.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll let you go.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
That was Let's Go Brandon. According to, well, I shouldn't say this because I don't know, but brought to you by cbhobby.com. 10% off promo code Will Grier.
Goddamn right. Come in here and
shit,
get some
wax is expensive these days, man.
Wax, no joke.
You know what I mean? But like with 10% off, That's actually some real money. Back in the day, it was like $4 off a hobby box. Now it's like 40. So
real.
it's like some real, some real percentage off. There it is.
Yeah, you could take your pick. Anything you want, any sport. There's our Lorcana right here, baby.
Oh my God, $6.
Maybe.
Was that a
There
box?
we go. We got $60 for one of these. We get $6 off this.
All right.
We might have to get some of Lorcana.
Yeah, you might have to buy something. Oh, we got someone else calling in. Stevie Hobby Hotline's hot tonight, Ryan.
You're damn right.
No females calling in. That's maybe we'll have
unfortunate.
Trying to think of a sponsor to call in. Maybe she'll call in. Yeah, that'd be great.
That would be great. Are we going to bring Paul on?
Yeah, why not? Paul Carl. It's got 2 first names.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
How we?
What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, we almost. I feel like we. Hold on. I think he's probably got echo or something. I feel like we need like instructions on how to call in or something.
I think some good instructions is Google Chrome. Google Chrome definitely works the best. You want to close out every other window. Close out your podcast window, your music, your Safari, every other thing you have on your computer. Close it out. And then obviously mute the stream. If you're watching the live stream, you also need to mute that because you will be able to hear us once you get onto the show. You'll be able to hear us through these microphones. But definitely, if you decide to call into the program, and you definitely can, we'll drop the link in the chat. I almost pressed leave there. That would have been bad. But you can call in. Again, if you use Google Chrome, if you close out everything else on your browser, you can also test your audio and test your video before going live. We will certainly let you come on and share anything that you want. We had a breaker just getting called out. We had Jimmy B on saying he was about to send 6 racks on some prototype Beanie Babies. We have Dave Snyder calling in, talking about Luka Doncic. So a lot going on in the sports card world. Jordan Isabella has not called into the program yet, but there's certainly still time to take this call, ladies and gentlemen. But I did want to point out one thing that changed in PSA terms of service. This comes courtesy of tiffanycards.com. It says PSA has updated their policy. You can see the before and after here on their evidence of cleaning. They added the following sentence: that if they determine that a card has evidence of cleaning, they will not grade it. Additionally, when any foreign substance is applied to the surface of a card, such as cleaning spray or wax, they will put it in an authentic altered case. If they determine the card maybe has some spray or some wax. Who do you think they are talking about, Colin, when they talk about spray and wax? They added to the terms of service, by the way. This is an addition literally in the last couple days. Who do you think they're talking about when they are talking about the lube, the juice, the wax, and the spray?
Well, yeah, clearly. They're targeting this, and we heard from the people online. Well, how do they know this, that, and the other? And it's just like, it's kind of like the teacher telling you not to use ChatGPT on your essay, and then you sitting back and being like, well, how would my teacher know? Well, how about you fucking just be a fucking man and write the essay? And in trading cards, how about if you need a 10, go make some fucking money and buy a 10. If you need your Jackie Robinson soaked and waxed and fucking rubbed down to turn it into the grade that you want, fucking get some money and just buy the one that you want. Oh, well, the card company should be making cards that are perfect. They've never done that. I've got a fucking stack of I don't know what year Topps this is. Guys, these cards are fucked. They're cut so like off center. Every single one's cut off center. And then look at the backs. They're like different fucking colors. They've never made cards out of the pack that have looked good. Oh, well, we pay so much money for them now. Guys, 50 cents for a picture, a pack of a picture of a man was a lot of money back in the 1960s. What the price of the boxes hasn't gone up as much as the value and the purchasing power of your dollar has disintegrated over the past 20 years. Okay, well before Joe Biden took office. So, I mean, look, I wouldn't take the risk here. I certainly wouldn't take the risk. These guys apparently maybe have kind of toned down their flexing of this stuff on Instagram. That certainly is stupid. We had those, like 18-year-old kids that had a card shop. We had a video of them a couple of weeks ago waxing and rubbing down their cards. And it's just like, guys, this is not the way. This is not the way. When you pull a card, if it's a 10, it's a 10. If it's not, it's not. And if you need to rub it and juice it and wax it, eventually they're going to figure out what you're doing and they're going to put a stop to that. Or if they don't, we've already seen this, that I sold a Michael Jordan card raw this week, and it wasn't one of these like super modern Michael Jordan cards. Topps Chrome card, I think from 98 or something. Topps Chrome card, I sold one raw, 1998 Topps Chrome Jordan. I sold one raw this week for the price of a PSA 9. I was on I don't know, one of the consigners auctions or whatever, and I was searching for it, and I was like, I sold one of those raw too, not for 36, but it was slightly just under that price. You certainly wouldn't have made money if you sent it off and got great. That's actually mine right there, $25.
This one right here.
Yeah,
There
I
it
sold
is.
that one. That's
Sports Card Radio. There it is, baby.
Yeah, $25. He bought a bunch. And the card looked good. My guess is it's probably a 9. But if that 9 sells for 36 and you paid, at least $17, $18 to PSA, and then you're paying another 15% to eBay, you just lost money.
Yeah.
So there's a $12 difference between that and a 9. So,
Right.
and a lot of this has to do with the fact that it's grading cards have just gotten so diluted. And then that's certainly not a modern card, but especially with these modern cards with like these modern Wembies and stuff, it's like a 9 is nothing. It's almost like a waste if you get a 9 now. And that is what's going to happen if we can just wax and lubes our cards to at least a 9, occasionally a 10. Well, there's no value in grading then. There literally is there's literally no value in grading. You might as well, instead of spending all the time and the money on Kurt's Card Care and waxing and rubbing and sending your cards in, just work an extra hour or two a week and buy the 10 outright. That's all you have to do. Because think of all the time and effort you are spending waxing and rubbing your cards. And even then, it doesn't work all the time. Because it's not just surface damage and surface scratches and surface whatever that's getting you the 10. The grader is purely subjective as well. I mean, we've seen perfect fucking cards come back a 6, and you see cards that have obvious flaws come back a 10. It's a crapshoot. It's like rolling the dice. So instead of sitting there rubbing and waxing your fucking cards, get an extra shift at work. Pick up a side hustle. We just brought it up. I'm selling Michael Jordan cards. I don't remember exactly what I paid for that card. I think I got that one in a lot of, I think I bought 300 Michael Jordan cards. Maybe it was like 150 Michael Jordan cards for $350. And that was in there. So I paid $1.50 on average. I paid $1.50, $2 a card. And there was actually 2 of these. I got a second one sitting right here that I haven't even listed yet. There was 2 of these sitting in a lot. And then there was an EX Century. There was 3 different serial numbered cards. I mean, Michael Jordan cards is gold. Don't buy from Probstein. Don't buy from DC. Don't buy. You're not going to find these lots that cheap from those guys. But go find the guy with 38 feedback, and he's dunking off his Michael Jordan cards or his neighbor's Michael Jordan cards, and you're going to get a smoking hot deal. And on 3 or 4 of the cards, you're going to get all your money back, and then you're sitting on 100 Michael Jordan cards where your cost is 0. So, look, grading cards, I think, is going to continue to get diluted. And then there's going to be those people out there that are saying, well, how do they know? Why don't we just keep doing it until they figure out a way? Again, that's just the lazy, that's the lazy beta male attitude that I see in a lot of things these days. Well, why should I work out? You know what I mean? Or why should I go to school? Why should I write the essay myself? It's like, fucking be a man, dude. And if you want a 10, go buy a 10. If you can't afford a 10, go get a fucking job that allows you to afford the 10. Otherwise, maybe you're not man enough, and maybe you don't have the money to buy it yet. We got Paul Carl back.
This hobby is not for everybody, though.
It isn't. It isn't. It's not. It's not. We won. Ooh, you won that Jeter collection.
I probably
Let's
overpaid.
I
would have got it for like $100 less if.
Probably didn't talk about it. Mr. Carl, how are we doing tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys? Got it all fixed. Not
Okay,
as retarded
excellent.
as I thought.
Oh, that's okay. How you doing tonight?
Good. I wanted to talk to you guys about the Jordans you've been buying. We've talked a little bit on like email and Twitter and crap. Those Jordan lots that you buy and then you sell as singles, you should just sell the high value ones as singles and then just sell the rest as a lot. And there's a way to do lots that is absolutely insane that I've been doing. And the sell-through rate for my store right now is over 50% doing it this way. If you do like Paul Carl cards, eBay, and you'll see my store and you'll be able to see the way that I'm doing it. Basically, the concept is instead of just doing like crappy phone photographs of like stacks just like fanned out, or instead of doing like taking all the time to lay out each card individually to make it look nice, if you run them through a scanner, through like an ADF scanner, and then you automate the image creation, if you click one of these listings, you can see every single card that's in the lot. You see them side by side. And in the description and the item specifics, literally everything's perfect. It's all automated. And yeah, this is the way to do it. And when people are searching for singles, because of the description there, a lot of times, especially if it's like a long tail card, the lot will show up for the single search too because of the description. And I think this is like one of the Jeff Wilson innovating retail. I think this is innovating eBay, what I've been working on here.
Okay, question for you. How do you get the I've done so I have one of those scanners and I've figured out a way kind of to make the like the photo look like that, but it sounded like maybe you have how are you generating not only that photo with all the cards, but also it looks like individual photos of each card front and back. How are you going through that process?
It's all done. It's all automated with a Python script. So I use ChronoCard, like ChronoCard, Card Dealer Pro, those types of things. ChronoCard's my favorite. I use their export add-on and their AI. So I spend $200 or something like that a year for the AI, and then it's $15 a month for the. And with those exports, it's just a CSV with all the card data from the AI. I run a Python script that uploads CSVs and does all the image editing, and then I just upload the CSV and it's done for me.
Sure. And how are you auctioning? Are you doing? It looks like you have this one like $14.99, 0 bids.
Oh yeah, those are my junk ones that I relisted as auction. I don't keep anything in my store longer than 3 months. I'm trying to keep my sell-through rate above 50%.
Are you selling most things by it now, or are you doing auctions?
Most of it's buy it now. Auction is like my last resort before I bulk it out.
Okay. Sure. I hear you. Yeah, I certainly have a stack of Michael Jordans over here. There's a lot of them. The $1.25 ones aren't really worth selling individually. What I've been doing is I've actually been I actually keep the ones that are worth like 50, 60, 70 bucks. I just put those in the safe and I just keep them because I figure, well, they're certainly not going to go down in value, or at least not a lot. And there's a good chance if I just leave them in there, eventually I'll have, maybe a few $1,000s of cards sitting in there. And if the Bobby Bonilla money runs out, then eventually I'll have to sell them. But yeah, I like the strategy, and it's certainly as the cards start to stack up over here, moving them out in this manner certainly makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's really good for vintage too, because you can get since people will be able to see every card that they're getting and evaluate the condition themselves, they'll pay a premium for being able to see every card in the lot rather than just like a box or a stack and all that crap. So I think something like this is going to be the future. I know Chrono Card, well, I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. Chrono Card, I think they're working on integrating it into their app, so you don't need to like code your own thing to do something like this. I wouldn't be surprised if like Card Dealer Pro is trying to do it too. But yeah, this is great. And PSA is doing good too. Like with the PSA eBay store, they're only using the white backgrounds, but if you use the PSA app, they have that slab studio thing, and it's actually insane how good your click-through rate can be and your conversion rate when you use like those colored backgrounds. They're doing all these white crappy backgrounds, but those ones, like their categories, you can create those images in the Slab Studio and they pop so good in search results. So for anyone here that's selling slabs, use Slab Studio, get that nice colored background, make it pop. Your click-through rate is going to be insane, and you're going to sell through your graded cards a lot faster.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's all I had. I just wanted that
right.
and
Thanks.
Pimp out lots. That's the way to sell cards. Don't sell cheap singles. Sell the lots. That's the way to go.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Later, guys.
Thanks, my man. Appreciate it. Ryan, CB Hobby is feeling scammed, saying all these free plugs, bro. So CB Hobby, make your way over to cbhobby.com. Get your promo code. Will maybe his promo card should change to scammed, 10% off.
Your mic's muted.
I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, it's good
Can you hear
now.
me? Okay. For some reason we lost Colin, so maybe we got Joe Biden. The Joe Biden economy is kicking us off over here at Sports Card Radio. So
I lost my audio there for a second, so I had to hop out.
we lost each other.
Muted isn't.
Hey, we let people come on, and we let them talk about $6,000 prototype Beanie Babies. We let them talk about their eBay store. We let them talk about their business. That's what we do over here. Try to get on Jeff Wilson's channel and get the same level of plug and the same level of juice. I doubt it can actually happen. But cbhobby.com for all your sports card needs.
That's right, baby.
Save free shipping, $250. Save 10%. Promo code Will Greer. Hey, we're not going to screen calls over here. People are going to call, and we're going to give them a floor. We're just not going to screen calls over here. We're not going to, aside from very few people, we actually don't invite anybody on the show. People can call in if they want to pimp their shit. By all means, pimp your shit. If you want to talk about how you got scammed, by all means. If Bill Belichick's little side piece wants to fucking call in, by all means, we'll take the call and talk to her. If Cameron Brink wants to call in, she can call in. If Mama Breaks wants to, she absolutely can. Speaking of drama, though, we have an update on the Filthbomb Breaks situation.
Oh, my God.
Unfortunately, Fanatics has deleted all the messages. You remember last week that we talked about a customer who spent $20,000 with Filthbomb breaks. Filthbomb was going to offer this customer a white glove service where they eBayed, where they graded some of his cards, sold some of his cards on eBay. Well, apparently what Filthbomb did in their white glove service is they just started selling shit. They didn't even really consult with the customer who spent 20 racks. Well, the customer was obviously pissed. He spent $20,000. He's like, what the fuck? Never got anything sent to him. He started complaining to the breaker. He started complaining to the CEO of the Fanatics Live app. Well, the DM conversations, and this comes courtesy of AI Sports on Instagram, the DM conversations between the customer and Filthbomb have been deleted on the app. The entire DM history has gone missing, and the customer has not heard from Filthbomb and has not heard from Fanatics Live since last week. So it looks like he's going to have to get his credit card or however he paid involved here because he has not received anything. Some of the cards have been sold, and now he is being ghosted by Filthbomb. He is being ghosted by Fanatics Live. So certainly doesn't give you a lot of confidence. Somebody who spent $20,000 on the app is getting the cold shoulder. Imagine if you spent $200 or $2. You think you're going to get any customer service support over at Fanatics? Probably not. And you know what I noticed about Fanatics? This is one of the areas where they're losing. They're losing to Whatnot. This is pretty much a dead app. This is in the middle of the day. Here are the breakers that are getting the most viewers. Black Tie Breaks had 57 people in the room. And if they're giving any away, there's probably people with like 10 accounts in the room. So who knows how many actual people that is. Reef Monkey Breaks, boy, I love with a Z. I love these names of these breakers. Had 44 people in the room. Going Twice had 54 people in the room. And Hit Seekers had 26. Do you know how many people Backyard Breaks had in their room this afternoon when they were breaking cards?
Is this the same time?
This is the exact same time of day.
Okay.
They have about the exact same number of people that are watching us. They had 692 people watching them live on Whatnot. Somebody who broke Pokemon cards, Kraken Hits, had 337. And there were other breakers, We the Hobby Bronx, New York, who were approaching 100. Fanatics Live is losing to Whatnot. People would rather be on Whatnot. People would rather be spending money on there. And so when a guy spends $20,000 and then he basically gets brushed off, regardless what you think of the situation, certainly a tough look. Tough look for Fanatics. Tough look for Filthbomb. And certainly tough for the customer to swallow. He's obviously not happy. I did get further evidence. We talked about one of their large customers, a guy called EP1121, who people were suspecting that Filthbomb was maybe funneling all the good spots to EP1121. Not only funneling the good spots, but all these cards would be kept by Filthbomb and then auctioned off on their eBay account. And you can see when you buy something on Fanatics Live, you can see what people paid. Here, this person Smoot paid $2,999 for the Minnesota Twins spot in a, I don't know, some kind of 6-case break. Seems expensive. You could see who didn't pay any money was this EP1121. He gets all his teams credited to him for $0. I did get an email last week from another customer who used to buy into breaks at Filthbomb. He said a few months ago, Filthbomb was opening Topps Transcendent Baseball, which is like $25,000 a box. They would open these briefcases before selling all the spots. Why would they do this? Because there was an invitation inside that had a time limit to it. So they had to crack these cases, make sure they get the invitation out but they didn't sell all the spots in the break. So one day, they hadn't sold all the spots in the break. They had 3 cards out on the table that you couldn't see, but you could buy into this break. And magically, EP 1121 got the New York Yankees. And what do you guys think came out of the boxes? 2 of the 3 cards were signed Derek Jeter cards. The implication being is that Filthbomb, because these cards were out of the case, they were able to take a little peek, then they were able to signal over to their boy EP to buy the New York Yankees so that he could secure those 2 cards. So just a little bit of the hanky-panky going on over at Filthbomb Breaks. So what do you think about the update that Fanatics has now deleted all the DMs from the customer? And Filthbomb, what do you think about all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is certainly kind of a developing situation. Like, what side is Fanatics really going to be on? Are they going to be more on the breaker side? Are they going to be more on the customer side? I'm still not convinced that they're going to be long-term partners with these breakers, that these breakers are just a stopgap to fill some spots, get them customers. Like, like if you're buying on Fanatics Live, that's not your customer. That's Fanatics customer. They have the email address. They have the payments. They know they can control the DM histories and all those types of things. Part of me thinks that Fanatics is going to use these guys like Filthbomb for a while, figure out the best practices, and then just hire their own people. Because that's how you 10x, not 10x the hobby. That's how you 10x your profits. Ryan, we have somebody on the line here. Do we want to bring him in?
Here to set the line straight.
Okay, let's please. CB Hobby, Will Grier, 10% off.
Get
Mr.
that
Petty.
stupid AIH guy off the screen. Thank you.
Wow.
What
Okay.
a moron. Him
Wow.
and the other guy, fucking Filthbomb. What is going on with these guys tonight? How are you, fellas?
We're
been-
great. Well, I mean, what's your problem with AIH Sports? I mean, what
He's
did he?
a
What did?
dumbass fucking conspiracy theorist moron. Fucking
Okay.
hate the guy. Other than that, he's great for the hobby.
Other than that, what conspiracy has he floated that really has you upset?
Well, I guess the world must have ended last year, according to him.
He's claiming the world is ending.
What?
Every time I watch the clown, that's what he's complaining. It's another conspiracy. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy's okay, but I mean,
You can't go back
I
and
can't
forth like
stomach
that
looking
for
at him. I know you
data.
guys love him. He's trying to get to the bottom of this stink bomb bullshit. Fuck stink bomb. I mean, are people that stupid to be breaking and to have and this guy with the Beanie Babies? Man, you'll let anybody on tonight, even me.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
So I've been
Clearly.
big fans of you guys since probably 10, 15 years by now, ever since
That's
you started.
a long
I helped
time.
you guys nickname a few of these scammers and card doctors and stuff like that back in the day under my,
Like who?
under my real name now. Not Big Petty.
So
you're not a big fan of you're not a big fan of the breaks at all. You don't buy into breaks.
If you want to get your fucking head handed to you and get beat like a redheaded stepchild, go right ahead. But you got, I mean, guys that are doing breaks, I mean, it's just moronic. And then the last guy comes on. I got a nebulous 1-of-1 with a break for $1, and this guy, and they're throwing these names with their 1-of-1s. Guys, if you're collecting that shit, you're gonna go broke. This hobby is in fucking trouble with morons like this. That's what it's coming down to. There's just imbeciles everywhere.
What would you advise people to if people had, say, $1,000 to spend, or maybe even a little more, a little less than that? What would you advise them to
I'd
buy
buy
in
a
this
fucking
hobby?
baseball card. I wouldn't be buying 1-of-1 bullshit, contrived crap from fucking Fanatics. That's what I wouldn't be doing. I wouldn't be buying, you know, I mean,
So you're
Stadium
saying
Club
it's
and
dumb to
Player
buy
Edition,
cards, but you would buy cards,
Flawless and
right?
Neon Green Pulsar and No Huddle and Tier 1 and Ripping this and Hyper that, Snakeskin, Green Scope, PMG. How about the dumbass that lost 23,000 with his precious metals? How about you buy gold, numbskull? You ever heard of that? That's a precious metal. I mean, these guys, I'll tell you, they got me worked up. I don't know what's going on.
What would you say is your largest investment in the sports card world? Well, like what's the most money you've spent on something?
I don't know. I mean, I probably the most money I've spent is in the $10,000-$15,000 range. Nothing much more than that. But I'm not buying that. I'm buying guys that maybe you've heard of: Babe Ruth, Babe fucking Ruth, Ty fucking Cobb. These guys, in case you're wondering, they were good. They're not like Wandering Franklin and this Francisco Domingo and this fucking Jackson Profar, whatever his fucking name is. They're buying with his fun face card. You know, back in 1989, I traded a couple of those fuck face cards. One I traded for a Sandy Koufax, turned out to grade a PSA 6. Another one I traded for a Ernie Banks PSA 6 rookie card. Those are the kind of cards I collect. I don't fucking collect dog shit. Oh, yeah. Oh, those are worth $41 now. Well, let's just see how much the PSA 6 Koufax is. And I mean, these guys are buying dog shit. And they're trying to pawn it off as a hobby. Buy a fucking baseball card. Buy Willie fucking Mays, Roberto fucking Clemente. God, I don't know what to tell you.
Do you say fucking all the time to feel relevant?
Fucking Mays. Guess what? Mays was good. You think any of these players are good? Juan DeSoto and who else are they? Who else is out there that these guys are buying these days? Tell me some other hot guy with a fucking ankle broken or with a very bad attitude. Some of these guys. I mean, I can't play. My feelings are hurt. I'm out for 6 weeks. Mike Trout. There's another fucking clown. Trout, pretty little Trout. One more splash in, come right out into the deep end. That's where he is. All that money, $1 million fucking Trouts. In the meantime, I just plod along with my $10,000 and $15,000 Mickey Mantles that are worth, $80,000, $100,000. I don't give a shit because it's just a hobby to me. I buy what I don't like. I'm not buying what I like. You know what I mean? If you like it, maybe you should buy what you don't like once in a while, and you'll be much better off.
You have a real watch or just a Fitbit?
This is my Fitbit, but I've got a Rolex. Don't worry, tough guy. Hey, if I had your money, I'd burn mine. But I can tell you right now, I live in a good part of town. I'm not in fucking Stockton, and I own my home on a golf course.
I live in Hermosa Beach.
With only 1 acre, though. It's not Ken Golden like.
I live in Hermosa Beach, by the way.
Do you? I was just there last week. I thought you were in Stockton, so that's a nice place. I really enjoyed it.
It's far from Hermosa Beach is very far from Stockton. That's for damn sure.
I'll tell you, you really came up. That's good for you. You guys deserve it. You guys are the best thing for the hobby. But you really need to start talking. I mean, I know you're just letting everybody rant, but these guys that are coming on tonight, holy fuck, where do you find? This is worse than Jerry fucking Springer with this guy with the Beanie Babies for 6,000. You're trying to save the guy. I appreciate that. And I should probably have an earpiece in because I don't know how my audio is coming out. It's probably louder than a motherfucker.
It's not bad.
You there?
What,
hey, Boozle, how are you, my handsome friend? You know Bob Boozle's in the Commenter Hall of Fame.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, there's only 3 guys in the Hall of Fame. Mookie and me. We're Hall of Famers. Okay. Trying to get my see if I can get my mic going here. Yeah. Anyway, I don't give a shit. Fuck this mic.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, we got you loud and clear. You're certainly fired up. You're certainly fired up.
I'm fired with enthusiasm, fellas.
You're damn right. Is there anybody you want to talk shit on? Anybody else you got words for? I mean, you're on a roll here. Of course,
my buddy. Well, how about Jeff Wilson, the guy that started it all? You guys love him. I know how everybody loves him. You know what? And that's why I love Christine beating him with a fucking Jap slap or whatever the hell she's hitting him with. Her fucking cog, her signed fucking flip flop. This guy's looking. Oh shit! There he is. There's my boy. Oh,
What would
God.
you what would you say to Jeff?
I mean,
what would you say to Jeff
how
Wilson?
would you? I mean, look, I have my own business. I don't need 5 places of business. I just need one that makes money. I got an idea. How about you get 1,000 square feet? You prove you can do something, and then get 14 acres. I mean, what the fuck did that guy buy? He's got breaking tables, cabana booths. Oh, you cabana boy, bring me a seltzer. I mean, are you kidding me? That guy has got to be one of the dumbest. Then he writes a fucking book, how to be hobby. What is it, for dummies? Investing for dummies. If you listen to him, you must be a dummy. That's for damn sure. Only a fucking moron, licensed legally, would listen to that that idiot. Excuse me. I don't want to get carried away. Enough F-bombs. But when I saw the guy 5 years ago, I knew he was a dumbass. And he was just, there he is. Ooh, Mr. Pretty Boy. Fuck you, buddy. What a dick. I mean, I've seen enough of that guy to just choke over. And I've seen many guys come by in my life like this idiot. And just, especially in this hobby, they're just filled with them. And look at this guy. The other guy, who Hillbilly number 1 and Hillbilly number 2. Who the fuck are those guys? What do they do in the car? I mean, how is that guy making any money at that store? Cards HQ. World Series of fucking poker on that big old table of his. What are they going to do? Break? They're going to have a World Series of breaking? Fudge packing. Don't even get me started with these mystery packers. Holy shit. They got the gold sparkles and the shimmers, gold vinyls and the chronicles with the cracked ice. You see how stupid it is with the Nebulous, the Lexicana, whatever these fucked up names are. Logo Refractor Man, Triple Patch Auto. Oh my God, you must be kidding me. These guys are just moronic.
What keeps you in the hobby? What keeps
Well, to be honest with you, I love the hobby, and I've shown I like real collecting, and I used to really care about the hobby. I care about people in the hobby losing their money and all that, and I would speak out and I would try to, help them out a little bit here and there. But guess what? They don't listen, because kids these days, they don't give a fuck. They don't listen. I'm only living on 14 acres because I actually listened going into business for myself. And it's just crazy. The kids these days, nobody wants to. So now I don't really give a shit if they listen or not. You can listen to me, or you can continue to be a loser on your own. That's all I got. And I really don't care. I don't want you to listen to me, because I don't give a fuck about anybody anymore in the hobby, other than my few buddies that I have made on YouTube. That's great. But I mean, literally, I don't care to help anybody, to do anything for the hobby, other than tell you what I'm telling you now. And I'm just telling everybody that God's honest truth. Go the fucking buy what you want. Look at this shit. Look at these guys. This soccer cards with the fake fucking autos everywhere. Auto with the fucking scribbles. Give me a goddamn autograph. Player edition. 3 and 2. Select Prism. Press proof. Pandora. Fucking unbelievable. Purple Shocks. Green PMG. Where does this bullshit end? It's just fucking a nightmare. That's the hobby that I love. There it is. Cards HQ. Ain't it beautiful? Completely empty. What a dumbass.
What do you think about Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend? Is that something that
I like it. I mean,
okay.
you know what? If you got the money and you can afford the 24-year-old girlfriend, I mean, they make a good couple.
Sure.
If I wasn't married, I'd have a 24-year-old girlfriend.
So are you married? What does your wife think about your sports card hobby, about your feelings on Jeff Wilson and other things? What
She doesn't know about my feelings about Jeff Wilson. She doesn't give a shit. She doesn't get involved in what I spend and what I do and what I have. I have a small collection of about 1,500 cards, nothing big, and I don't have a $200 million collection like some of these great collectors do. But I have a fraction, and I didn't pay a fraction for it. I'll tell you that. And that's because I buy stuff that actually it actually goes up over time or down or a little bit up and down. It doesn't go from a fucking $100,000 to $5. These guys are idiots. If they must have that much money, God bless them. But I've worked too goddamn hard for my money to give it away to some jackass like Jeff Wilson. Just absurd. I would never rip one pack. I wouldn't buy a fucking banger. I wouldn't buy a fucking hanger. I wouldn't give one nickel to Fanatics. Not a fucking nickel. PSA, fuck you. SGC, fuck you. Nothing. They get nothing out of me.
So you're not buying graded cards or anything like that?
I mean, unfortunately, I have to. You know, if you're putting that kind of money into it, and I'm sure I've got a shitload of trim cards. You know, I can't say I've tried to be careful over the years, and these days I don't even look at it like I used to because I don't give a shit anymore. If I didn't enjoy the hobby anymore and I let that bullshit bother me, I wouldn't collect. So I try to do the best I do within the parameters. If PSA went bankrupt tomorrow and I lost $300,000 on my cards or whatever, I really wouldn't give a shit. I'd still have the cards and I'd laugh my fucking ass all the way to the bank because that's what I hope happens. I hope they fucking do go bankrupt. I hope Fanatics does go bankrupt. And I'll laugh my fucking ass off at everybody that's invested and every goddamn store out there and every fucking moron that's out there peddling this dog shit. Breaks and fucking mystery packs. They were making mystery packs in the fucking 1970s. Every fucking scam that's going on is just repeated over and over in sports cards because people are fucking morons. And that legally, they're that dumb. Kids these days have to be the dumbest, most laziest things I've ever seen. It's just goddamn ridiculous. Look at these two guys. Look at those guys.
Look at them.
Fucking clowns. And I'm not even drinking tonight. Wait till Saturday and I do my show. You're going to get more of this at the Hobby Palooza. Whatever the fuck that thing's called. They made a big mistake asking me to come on.
Well, we've let everybody plug everything. Plug whatever you got going on Saturday. How do we find you? How do we find this rant?
I'm doing a show with Orlando of A Collector's Dream, who I'm sure you guys know. We're just going to basically talk about how to stay alive in the hobby. And basically how you do it is what I just told you. Stay the fuck away from kaboomies. Stay the fuck away from downtownies. And don't buy what you like. If you don't like fucking baseball cards from the golden era, don't fucking start now with this bullshit. So we're doing a thing called the Hobby Palooza. It's a 24-hour, I don't know, something for it's a great charity. I'll be doing a little bit of a drinking show at 12 o'clock here Western on the West Coast. And so it should be quite fun because I'll have the same attitude as I have right now. Check it out. Should be fun. We're going to show some real fucking baseball cards. None of this navy camo, fucking green shimmer, no huddle, neon white knight, black finite bullshit. The fucking gilded collection with the low expectation chrome cosmic with a blue ice crack kaboomy. It's fucking been triple logo. Fucking triple Pollo Loco, man.
Got burnt by those.
I mean, dude, how about Project Dopey? What happened to those? Where those go? Weren't those all the rage at one point?
Yeah.
How much are those fucking worth?
Absolutely nothing.
Thank you. Absolutely nothing. And all
here's one for $3.
Jackson fucking what's his name? Jackson Christmas Day with the fun face guy. Cards going for $140. I got a good idea for you. If you guys have that fucking card, sell it immediately. Trade it for anything you can fucking get for it from the 1950s or 1960s. Just get the fuck rid of it. I mean, look at this guy. What a stupid idea for a card. And this is the kind of shit that people are buying. I mean, seriously, guys. I mean, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but these guys, look at this shit you got up there. But does it have a box or does it have a chainsaw on it? I don't know.
Yeah, there are different versions, I think. So
yeah,
you've got to pick which one you want to spend money on.
Where did they ever get that idea from? And they think this guy's good. Hey, I guarantee you he's as good as Billy Ripken.
This PSA brought to you by CB Hobby.
That's right. CBHobby.com.
Oh,
Mike Petty has come courtesy.
cards.
You're damn right. You can save 10%, promo code Will Greer.
Or get anybody that starts with a T. T Lance, T Law, any fucking nickname. Get it out there.
Damn right.
With a fucking Lukey, what's his name? Lulu Ballsack? Fuck him, too. I love that you guys are all over that clown. I mean, he sucks. The guy's fucking, he's lucky he's not hurt. He's 400 pounds. And what about, and this VWEM, another guy. He is pretty smoking hot. That's good. That looks a little like me. That's cool.
I mean.
The Fitbit guy. Let me check my heart rate. Hey guys, I gotta go. My heart rate's up. I gotta go take my meds.
All right. Yeah, you might have to go take your meds. We appreciate you calling in, and we're gonna have to check out this Hobby Palooza when you get on the Hobby
Palooza. You guys don't know about the Hobby Palooza? There it is. Look, Hobby Palooza.
Here we go. There it is.
All fucking day, Saturday. But I'm on
awesome.
it. These guys start out in the morning. They're a bore. Those guys, they're gonna put you right to sleep.
Okay.
You might as well just fucking sleep right through those guys.
Okay.
I mean, really, they're all politically correct. One guy's gonna talk rookie cards. No, you're not gonna hear one F-bomb out of them. They're all, you know, I like them and everything, but I mean, they're not gonna tell you the truth, what's really going on. No, no nose candy. That's been done about 10 years ago now. I can't.
So wait a minute. If a line was sitting right in front of you right now, you're saying you wouldn't do it?
I really wouldn't anymore. I just can't. I mean, look, I'm 60 fucking 2 years old.
You look great.
Yeah, I like to see 63.
Hey, you're looking great, baby. You're looking great.
But I wouldn't say that I haven't partook with a couple of baseball players before playing poker on Thursday nights, as a matter of fact, in my normal poker game out in Sherman Oaks. So I mean, there's been some of that, but not recently.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I picked the wrong week to give up pot. Well, I'll tell you, my doctor, he said that I told him that I wanted to stop chewing gum. He said, start drinking instead. So I don't chew gum now. I drink. But no more smoking pot, nothing. Got to give it all up.
Wow. This is what happens when you get older. Damn.
Yeah.
This is
it's really not easy. Hey, it ain't easy being me, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I mean,
especially when you get old, you know how it's rough out there when you get old. I'll tell you. I needed your teeth start falling out. I needed an implant. Fucking dentist. I asked the dentist. I said, "Hey, dentist, can you match my other teeth, with this tooth?" He said, "Yeah, sure." He puts it in. Fucking has 4 cavities in the tooth he put in.
Boy, wow.
That's a joke, son. Cavities.
I think this is why people like Bill Belichick, they upgrade to a slightly younger age. You get old, teeth falling out, can't smoke weed, can't, do the snow.
Yeah.
And,
I don't
get something like that, and you ain't worried about a whole lot.
It's always nice to upgrade. So was he not married ever or no?
He has kids. I think he has a daughter that might be even older than she is.
So he basically traded up. I mean, I did that, but unfortunately it was 20 years ago.
There's still time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Well, now I don't want to give away half of everything.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's always the outer zip code side piece. You can always explore those options, I'm sure.
Can you get up unassisted?
Oh shit, you guys are funny. No, I don't think so. I think I'm good with what unfortunately I have to stay pat with that. I've got
all right.
I'm in love.
Good. That's good.
And we like to hear it. We love to hear it.
That's great.
Well, we're definitely going to check you out on the Hobby Palooza
12 o'clock
on Saturday.
There I am. Somewhere. Keep flipping. There I am, right there,
Edmund.
staying alive next to Orlando.
Okay.
Pretty
There
is
it
the
is.
picture.
There it is. We're gonna get notified when this goes live. So
that's right. You guys get in there. We'll
be
call
in
you.
the chat.
We'll get you in there. You guys
We're gonna be
pop
in
off on our show.
All right.
I love it.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Anyway, hopefully I stirred up enough shit for you. This should be the end of the show. But yeah, these guys that are coming on, they're just, I don't give a shit what the chat says. I'll fucking be in there mashing those guys in a minute.
Okay. I hear you.
They're coming for you, chat. He's coming for you.
Bring it on, fruitcakes.
I fucking love it.
Hey, all
Wow.
right, guys. Hey, I love you guys. Big fan. Big fan.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
See you later
Appreciate it.
on.
Strong phone call there.
Right on, baby.
Very, very strong.
Extremely strong. CBHobby.com. Hobby. That might be the strongest take. And he came the strongest as anyone has ever came on the CBHobby.com hobby hotline, where you can save 10% if you use the promo code Will Greer. So that was pretty impressive. I think we got. I mean, we kind of circled the globe in the sports card hobby. I mean, we really got to hear from a number of different people. And you know what we should do is we should get through these super chats that people have been very generous in donating throughout the night. But
Timmy sucks. That's Esme D.
Damn.
Big Save Cards. Be cool if SCR gave a review video of their scanner adventure along with the Crone. I don't know how to say that. Andor card. Yeah, I don't use any of the software, but I don't use the software really yet. But
these companies out here that offer software, boy, you should call your boy over here at Sports Card Radio. I ain't paying no $250 a month.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Holler at your boy. So
there you go.
You know how to get a hold of me.
Okay. There it is. Yeah, but yeah, we will on the Clips channel. I've been busy. You know, when you're on that Bobby Bonilla lifestyle and you're getting your $1,200 Scotty Cameron putter, you ain't doing a whole lot. You know, I bet Bobby Bonilla isn't putting in a lot of work. So I'm certainly not going to be.
I've sold a ton of cards. I'm into my third envelope pack of 50. So I've sold over 100 cards PWE.
Wow.
Or standard envelope. And then or 100 orders through standard envelope just in the last
pretty quick.
2.5 weeks. And then I'm selling lots on there. I sold an $80 graded card of Trayvon Diggs or whoever yesterday. So yeah, things are happening. We got the PSA vault. We probably have 50,000 in merchandise in the PSA vault. So I'm sure we'll be auctioning some of this stuff off. And
we'll turn that into a Rolex.
We're going to turn this into some boxes from cbhobby.com is what we're going to do.
That too. Yeah. Instead of the white gold Submariner, maybe a box from CB Hobby. They're about the same price sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, I'll do more of that content coming. I keep saying that, but I'll eventually, I'll get to some of that content. And we're still honestly, I don't like to do a video where I'm still learning. I like to try to figure it out and then come with a kind of a point of view. And I feel like I'm still learning and trying to, figure the right strategies out. It's obviously going well. It's certainly profiting. There's $70 or $80 a day dumping into, from a payout from eBay. So things are good. And, building it up small. We're not Jeff Wilson and we're not going to drop $3 million and go, become Burbank Cards of Stockton anytime soon. But yeah, we're just building up small, trying to give people kind of a realistic view of what it would be like to start from maybe the collection you have or a modest sum of money. Cause I don't think I've spent more. I might have spent more on the scanner than I've spent on the cards so far. Where's Wolfie? Said he quit watching Sports Card Dad gets a lot of hate when he acted like buying cards is like being addicted to crack. What a tool. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily compare the two. I would have to see the video to understand the context. I don't know. For some reason, Sports Card Dad does not turn me off And then the last guy that was on was like slamming on AIH Sports. AIH Sports is like the one guy I watch like all the time. I watch him and Dad the Card Man. Like I'm watching like every video that they have. With Justin, he puts out a lot of content, and so I'll watch some of it. But I don't have a problem. I don't know. I don't really have a huge.
Well, you
Huge problem
can
with 'em.
see that the people watching the content are, they're going to have a judgment and they're going to have an opinion on what you do. So
Yeah.
we're certainly
that's not a
subject to
bad
that as
thing.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's not a bad thing. You actually want people to have an opinion. It sounded like the last guy that called in, he still watches AIH Sports, right? He said he's this
Right.
conspiracy theorist, this, that, and the other, but he still watches. You know what I mean? And I do
Right.
think you can have a take like maybe Sports Card Dad did that can completely turn people off. And that's okay too. I don't think that that's necessarily I would say with this, like, addicted to crack is like is I wouldn't know what that's like. So trading cards, like I just look at it as like my kids when they grow up, they're buying trading cards or doing crack. I think if they're buying trading cards, I've done a mildly decent job as a parent. So
There's a certain, certainly with unopened wax, I knew of somebody, and this is before Jeff Wilson told everybody to come back into sports cards, but there was a guy who I knew who wouldn't go buy at the National. He wouldn't go by the DA or Blowout Booth or Marty Sports Cards because he was so addicted to opening wax that he knew he would take out his credit card or his cash and he would spend. So he literally wouldn't go to that area of the National every year because it was such like a draw, almost like drugs or alcohol or nicotine or some of these things, to where if he got close to it, he was going to buy a box, and then maybe not just one box, it was going to be a whole case. So
sure.
it can definitely be a real thing.
I hear that. Neil says, when is the ska version coming? I don't know what the SKA. What is this?
This is the intro song. We have the indie pop version coming up.
Okay,
Here,
I got it.
Just a little bit, guys. We got an indie pop version coming up. You're gonna want to hear that version.
Oh baby. Winston, whenever I watch your stream, my wife asks me, who is this Jeff Wilson? Yeah, you might. Yeah. It's not Jeff you need to worry about. It's Tim, because your wife starts asking you about Tim, then things might be.
Tell her, send her to my DMs.
Yeah, you either gonna get divorced or you're gonna be involved in a trouble situation. One of the two options, probably. What is CB Hobby? That is a website, cbhobby.com, sponsoring the show. We've got our grift knob to 10 here at Sports Card Radio, because we're seeing, I can't even remember the name of the website, but it's Darren Rovell's website. He raised like $1,900 million. We've seen Jeff Wilson spend millions of dollars on a baseball card shop. So over here at Sports Card Radio, we feel like we're leaving money on the table. We've got one of the highest rated live programs in the hobby, and CB Hobby is supporting us, and we do appreciate it very, very, very much. That is what CB Hobby is. He's supporting the show. We appreciate it. That is a dope hoodie. Thank you. You dip. I had this on. I was on a Zoom meeting. Somebody was like, "What is you dip?" And I had to kind of give him the quick backstory, kind of in a Zoom meeting. He thought it was great.
In a nutshell.
Ferris Sterling, eBay attacking shill bidders. Good. Suck on that, Probstein. Yeah, we didn't talk about it. But yeah, that's an interesting development. I hope it makes, just selfishly, I hope it makes cards maybe stop some of the shill bidding. That'll stop some of this like comp war, or at least makes the comps, like, we'll put comps in air quotes, more accurate. And maybe it makes the market slightly more efficient, because I do like to buy cards, and the more fair it is from a buying standpoint, there you go. Sports Card Radio is the Rolex of sports card programming. That is without a doubt. One of Bob Boozle's best comments right there. We are the Rolex of sports card programming. There is nothing finer. We are perpetual. And that is right. Sports Card Radio is the TMZ of sports cards. I also accept that comparison as well. TMZ is literally one of the best websites in the world because you can get anybody, including maybe even AI these days, to write the articles and nobody would care. It's just, you don't need, these, whatever liberal studies, fucking communication major people. I mean, look at that. I think that's
who needs an article when you can just show that?
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Come on.
I love it. I'm sure they're all over the Bill Belichick situation as well. It's just a wonderful website. Just absolutely fantastic.
It definitely is.
It's like one of the few websites in the world that I'm legitimately jealous of that I don't own it. Thecarddeal.com with the $10, Ryan. Lady in Red, jacked and juiced. I love this hobby. I think he's talking about Miss Belichick. As I tell you what, I've seen some photos of her. She looks good. There were some yacht photos today. She's obviously very heavily done here. I'm not saying for Bill Belichick this is a 10, but I mean, if we were to nitpick, see her without heavy makeup, that probably has a filter. Just saying.
I don't know. I think our boy Bill's doing just fine.
He's doing okay. Yeah, he's doing just fine. Trust me. Yeah, for Bill, trust me, that is beyond a 10. Shout out to Flipping Steve, content creator who gives away an annual, he has an annual pass to the National. And it looks like this year's winner is Cam. And Flipping Steve is sending Cam to the National, which is cool. Does this every year, I think.
He got a Pearl Jam hat on there, so he our boy over here.
He's doing it. Thank you, Philly Joe, with the 30. Appreciate it very much. David Snyder with the 9.99. Do you think the card industry has a Fort Knox environment? Do you think there's actual gold in Fort Knox? Depends on what central bank you're talking about. I think some central banks do have the gold. I think a lot don't. But Fort Knox is a great safe maker out of this city of Utah, I believe. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we had what's his name, Petty, come on. He had a pretty strong take. Hey, don't buy the nebulas and the cracked ice and all this other stuff. I mean, I think you just, I think you find what works for you in this hobby. But the key thing is, I think a lot of people think they're buying what they like, but they're actually buying what Card Collector 2 is telling you to like, or you're buying what Topps is telling you to like. Because a lot of people come in this hobby and then they're gone. And, there was a lot of like these sports card investor guys that came in 2020, and they came and they thought they liked buying and selling baseball cards, but really what they ended up realizing is they only liked it because Gary Vee told them to do it. So, if you like the cracked ice and the nebulas, make sure it's really your decision and not somebody basically telling you that you should like it.
He over here opening Sage football, bro. So we over here opening unlicensed football, but
I mean, for real, if they sent us the case and a couple thousand, we would open it too. Let's be real.
Let's hope to God that he got this case for free, because
I'm sure he did.
But
Ruben,
this is certainly what you're being pushed into, is this new product, whether it's Sage or whether it's Panini or whether it's Fanatics. You're certainly being pushed to buy these newer cards because that's how they make money.
I agree. Nick Rinaldi, $5. Michael Rubin is going to source shops to figure out which ones are profitable and why. Franchise the Fanatics brand and crush the shops that fed him. I agree with this. I 100% agree with this. He already has the real estate with lids. I think you're absolutely right. This is why they, like, the very first thing, we went to the Topps conference right after Fanatics took over. And what's his name? I can't even remember the guy's name. Luber or whatever. What was the guy's name? Luber?
Josh Luber.
Josh Luber. Josh Luber was there. And literally, like, the only thing he said over and over and over again is, we want your data. We want your data. Like, that's all he said, is like, we want to know what sells. We want to know what's selling in your shop. And so, yeah, I got it. And this guy was in Michael Rubin's ear with Gary Vee telling him, hey, you can manipulate the sports card market. Hey, this is what you can come in and I think Rubin wanted to get into sports betting. I think that's the direction he wanted to go. And then Luber and Gary Vee convinced him, no, you can manipulate the trading card market. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I agree. I think Nick Rinaldi is hitting it right on the head here, is that he is going to do with this with breaks and with shops. He's going to find the recipe. You guys are going to just hand it over. And I don't mean Nick or the chat, but Mama Breaks, Filthbomb Breaks, Jeff Wilson with his trading card shop. They are just going to hand it over on a silver platter. And then one day, maybe not overnight, it's not going to be like a switch, but it's going to be very slowly and steadily. Bigger footprints inside of lids are going to be devoted to trading cards. It's a pretty small footprint inside there, but they have plenty of room in those stores to turn them into trading card shops. And then obviously he's got retail space, and he knows how to get retail space. He can even turn some of the lids locations into sports cards locations. And over time, eventually, yeah, you're going to have Fanatics doing all the breaks and Fanatics running most or all of the shops, at least the shops and the breakers that are relying on the new content and the new trading cards. There's certainly going to be a place for places that many people would shop, where you've got older cards, slabs, like a Burbank sports cards or something like that. I don't think really has a problem with whatever Fanatics does, because they rely on something completely different, a completely different business model. But I agree that guys like Jeff Wilson think they walk into the room and they think they own it. But when he walks into the room, the people that own the room, like Mike Rubin, looks at Jeff Wilson and says, there's the sucker. There's the sucker. And we've said this about Jeff Wilson a number of different times, that he portrays himself as this businessman. He portrays himself as a tech investor. But if you live out here on the West Coast, just miles away from actual tech investors and an actual place where actual tech investment goes, to the tune of Apple, Google, Facebook, OpenAI, etc., we look at Jeff Wilson and we're like, this guy is a clown. First of all, he's not a tech investor. We know that. Number two, he says he's a sports card investor. What sports card investment has he actually made that actually has done anything and has actually been successful? This guy is a mark. Oh, that's true. Will Grier. Other than Will Grier, 10% off promo code Will Grier. Other than that, he's hit that one obviously out of the park, and that's paid off, obviously. But Jeff Wilson is a sucker, and thanks to him, he will be handing the recipe over to Mr. Rubin. And eventually, I think breaks will be sitting here one day. Breaks and shops will almost all be exclusively owned and operated by Fanatics. And that is the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny B, I got paid for a year and a half. Oh my God, it feels great. Take advantage of it. I didn't quite get a year and a half, but I haven't got it yet, but I did talk to HR today, so it is official and it's coming. So yeah, things are good, guys. Things are good. And then I'm going to use that money, and then I've got another investor to start a new business. So I'm living a blessed lifestyle over here. I've lost bands on Luka after that finals. Well, at least, hey, G Steen or GS Teen, whichever way you look at it. Hey, at least he's comfortable admitting it, because this is not a unique story. There's a lot of people that went heavy on Luka before this, but there was a lot of people also that, again, thought Luka going to the finals was going to be good to his cards. And Ryan, you kind of brought it up. It really didn't do anything. Didn't really, maybe a little nudge here and there, but you're gambling. I'd rather be doing what Seablaz is doing.
3% last 3 months.
3% last 3 months. I mean, yeah, last month.
Last 2 weeks
got
down.
smoked over the 2 weeks. So
Well, you
there
can
was no
look.
way to make money.
Look at over the 2 years. Here's the finals. Is this little curve right here is him making the
Right.
finals. And then look at all time. I mean, look, zoom out all time. And literally
Right.
you can't even see where he made the finals. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't even register on this. The thing
Yeah.
that was most important was this Gary V tweet. I mean, this was more important and more influential to his cards than anything he's ever done on the basketball court is somebody influential and rich like Gary V that a lot of people in this hobby look up to, saying, hey, I'm going to buy this card for $350 a pop. That's influence. That moves a card price. You can see this guy makes the NBA finals and it doesn't even register on the fucking graph.
Yeah.
So where do you think his cards are going to go? Does anybody with half a brain cell, even our boy Jimmy B, hopefully he's not watching, even people with half a brain cell, do they think Luka's cards are going to go up? Like, is there any world where this off season Luka's cards go up? Like, who would he have to date? Taylor Swift or
that? Yeah, that would help. But there's going to be the people that say, hey, he's going to take Eastern fucking Ukraine to the fucking Olympics or whatever. There's going to be those dumb fucks that are going to be talking about something like the Olympics or something.
Wow, they didn't care that he made the NBA finals. They literally nobody fucking cared. Nobody. It was one of the worst rated finals.
I actually don't think that he has a lot of people that actually collect his cards. I think he has a lot of people that want to buy and sell his cards. It's not like Michael Jordan. You sell Michael Jordan cards, people are buying them and they're keeping them. That's not the case with Luka. You have like a lot of people that are just buying his cards just to resell them. And that is not good. You want to be buying the players where the people are actually, and the same thing with like Justin Herbert. There's a number of players like this. You want to buy the players where people are like keeping them. They're not buying them to flip them. They're buying them because they actually like them. There's an emotional attachment. There's maybe a nostalgia factor with Kobe Bryant. There's obviously some emotional attachment there as well. I think with Joe Burrow, I see how strong Joe Burrow prices are, and I'm kind of amazed. I actually think there are people, because he's from Ohio, like there are people with an emotional attachment to him. And like they still pay prices. They still are buying his cards. And you don't hear about people like, oh, I'm buying Burrow to flip. It's Herbert to flip. Or it's Mahomes. I just think there's so many people that bought Luka to flip, and they're flipping. They can't flip it to anybody. There's nobody to flip this guy to, because the Dallas Mavericks are not really a popular basketball team. Just not a popular basketball team. I mean, there might be 10 basketball teams in the NBA that have more fans than this team. And he's not American. And he's not black.
He's lucky. If he was black and he was American, people would be cooking this guy.
Right.
For not playing defense, for complaining to the refs, for fouling out in game 3, the biggest game of his life. If that was James Harden or Russell Westbrook, who fouled out of the biggest game of their life, they'd still be talking about it on First Take. Stephen A. Smith would still be having an aneurysm about it. But because it's Luka Doncic, because he's white, because he's foreign, we give these guys a break.
Yeah.
Just letting these guys walk into this goddamn country. A side note, I was checking out at a store today, and the guy could literally not speak English, but he had a $1,500 iPhone with a Bank of America card loaded on it, and he paid Apple Pay. So that's either the American dream or what's wrong with America right there. Couldn't speak a lick of English, but had a $1,500 iPhone with a Bank of America card loaded on it. They probably had more money than I had in my bank account. I guarantee you that. So that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in these days.
That EDD, baby. EDD, Bank of America. I might know something about that
right.
pretty soon too.
Right.
Better believe I'm gonna milk every dollar I can get.
I don't speak English.
That's right. But thank you, GS-teen. Appreciate the honesty. That Panini burglar is like the Dern Tupac murder case. That's right. That is right. That robbery, something's still a little fishy about that. Dennis says, I really hope the people who watch your show take what you guys say seriously. I really respect your knowledge you guys are giving to us on your shows. Thank you, Dennis. Know you've been a fan for a long time. And look, we're not always right. And certainly if Luka won the finals, it might be a slightly different show. But when it does work out, it works out. And we do try, I do want people to stick around in the hobby because it's obviously good. The valuation of Sports Card Radio will go up. We'll be able to sell it one day, and Tim will collect his 4.2 and ride off into the sunset. And that's exactly what we want.
Well, he could have won the finals, and these cards wouldn't have moved.
They wouldn't have moved.
These things
like I
wouldn't
said,
have moved at all.
It's everybody piled in to flip it to somebody else. This happens a lot. It happens in real estate. It certainly happened in luxury watches. It happens a lot. Like, you have to buy the players where it's getting flipped to the end consumer. Okay. Michael Jordan, Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, certainly. There are players where it does that. And that's the kind of stuff that I like. I mean, I just ordered 600-700 cards from Check Out My Cards. It's probably 80 or 90% Mickey Mantle, Michael Jordan, Troy Polamalu, Ben Roethlisberger, those types of players where like it's going to somebody that's buying and keeping that card, not somebody like Luka where you're trying to flip it, or like a Trey Young or a Justin Herbert where it's just all hype. Tim, theories on what sunk the Edmonds Fitzgerald? Do you scuba dive?
I don't even know what that is.
I'm not sure either.
But
we'll get to the bottom of that, David. Thank you for the $9.99.
I don't.
Do you scuba dive? You do not scuba dive. Okay.
Maybe that's a intimate bedroom term. Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to guess.
I don't know.
Maybe
even then, then boy, that is okay. Valor Sports Cards with the $10. He says, not as a story. Us breakers don't pay attention too much, especially on a 15-hour day until the cards are in her hand. No one shows the millions of times we say next pack is a super and it's not. I hear you guys. I hear you guys. It's not a story. Mama Breaks was on for 15 hours. She called a card and it hit. But you got see, like a Valor Sports Card is just looking at it from the perspective of the breaker. You got to look at this from the perspective of the customer, of the average person, of like the Dana White who was calling out Michael Rubin like two weeks ago. And he was on like a promo where they were selling a product that pays Dana White royalties. And Dana White was even calling it out. That's how you got to start looking at things. Like, stop looking at this hobby through the lens of Jeff Wilson, Mama Breaks.
Yeah, you guys have got to stop that.
Yeah, look at it through the lens of just the average person that would see this and say, okay, that's either really cool, or there's certain, and certainly in society these days, I think it's okay to see something on the news, to read something on the news and say, well, just because the Washington Post is telling me this is how it went down, it's okay to go down quote unquote conspiracy rabbit holes or whatever. It is okay to be contrarian. It is okay, especially when you're a customer and you're the one supporting this hobby, wondering if what you're seeing here is just creative promotional marketing or a loaded box or whatever. So, and I think it's okay to talk about it. I think it is okay. It is okay to talk about it.
Well, you guys want to see pricing decline more. Let's stop talking about the scams and the shadiness, and let's just shut everything down. And the only thing you can talk about is hobby positivity. You guys want to see prices go to the shitter. I mean, Mike Mike Petty came on and had a really nice rant for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You actually want those people in the hobby who take this shit really seriously. Because he probably actually does spend real money on this hobby. You want people to take this seriously. If everything's just, don't worry about it. She was on for 15 hours. Stop talking about it. It's a non-story. Go back to pumping whatever new product has just came out. Go back to pumping Fanatics Fest or whatever the fuck we're supposed to be pumping right now, or the National.
We saw what that did to cards. It creates kind of like a boom and bust cycle where you kind of have, hobby positivity. Nobody's saying anything negative. Jeff Wilson, Gary Vee are geniuses. And it creates this kind of bubble environment. Whereas, like Ryan is saying, having these people that are a little more speculative and a little bit more conservative in how they're spending their money, that actually creates a more healthy ecosystem for the hobby. You'll have more people actually collecting these cards and wanting these cards. Whereas the only reason why people want Luka cards is because they think they've been told that he is going to win titles. And when he does win those titles, they are being told that the cards will go up in value.
And they don't.
Because he's not going to win because he doesn't play defense. That is how the NBA has worked for my entire life. You are not a star player and you do not win championships if you don't play defense. And if you're fat and out of shape in your early 20s, just wait until you hit your late 20s and your 30s. I mean, look how much weight he's gained from that photo. And that was back in 2018. He looks completely different now.
This is not very far off.
That's not real.
It's not real, but it's certainly not far off.
It's not far. The fact that you have to think if it's real, that just shows you. I mean, look how much weight he's gained. He has
give it a couple years. He's gonna look like
going to look like that. He will look like that. I agree. And this off season is not going to help. He's going to have 3 weeks off. He's going to go smoke shisha and do whatever he does. And God bless him. I would be doing drink Miller Lights or whatever he was drinking. Then he's going to go to the Olympics and fucking blow his wad. And then a month later, the NBA season is going to start. So have fun. Do you talk about Beckett altered Jordan card? I think that's the PMG one.
This is very well covered.
Right.
The guy even had
He's like his own channel, huh?
He had his own channel where he was up to fake PMG saga. So if you want the scoop on this,
right,
go to the guy who actually bought the card. I don't like talking about Beckett because they suck. No shit. Beckett got it wrong. Breaking fucking news. They suck, guys. Wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm glad the guy got his money back, but nobody should be surprised with what happened here. Nobody should be fucking surprised with how this ended up. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting story, but nothing that we could add to it. So that's why we didn't talk about it or cover it, because the guy literally had his own channel covering it. So certainly not something I was going to get involved in.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he has his own channel, and I think and just more broadly than that, our content is going to change over the years. You know what I mean? Our content changes all the time. And I actually,
if you couldn't tell this shit was fake, then guys, if you couldn't take one look at that thing and tell it was fake,
it definitely does not look.
Then keep listening to Gary Vee and telling you what to buy.
Yeah,
because I don't need Beckett or eBay or the authenticity guarantee to tell you that shit's fake. Look at that shit. It's obviously fucking fake.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the protections in place now got this guy his money back. 4 or 5 years ago, this guy would have been out 23,000.
He would have been fucked.
He would have been fucked. So. Gabriel saying he's just turned 49 and his girlfriend just turned 17. So I hope he's in a state where that is
I don't know if
that
I
is
would
not
have
a
admitted that.
felony
Yeah,
conviction.
wow. I don't know. Hopefully you're going by a pseudonym because hopefully the FBI is not watching, or your local police, or the Chris Hansen, I guess, or what,
Yeah.
You gotta
There's
be
a Joe
careful on
Biden
that one.
joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to say it. JQM78 499. No one will remember any of these modern MLB guys 10 to 20 years. I agree. Only thing they'll remember is how much money they lost in their cards. I agree. I mean, God, we have so many stories of like the guys in the 90s that were supposed to be the next guy. We don't even, I can't even remember. I'm sure in this stack of 1960s baseball cards, you can probably find some articles about these guys, about how they had more hits in high school than Willie Mays did or something. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, over the course of our lifetimes, there's maybe a handful of athletes that you can fit in one hand that are actually, exceptional. And that is why when you see exceptional athletes, you should appreciate it. And I think some of the stuff, particularly around Luka, that gets thrown around, they compare him to Larry Bird, they compare him to Magic Johnson, they compare him to Michael, they put him in the same sentence as Michael Jordan and stuff like that. And it's always somebody that never saw those guys play. And it's an insult.
Or it's somebody with a stack of his fucking cards to sell.
Or that. Right. It's just an insult to me, and that's just how I feel. Is Tim going? Have we worked that out yet? Yes, we're working behind the scenes to get everybody to New York City, guys. So the plan is we're going to get everybody to New York City. However, we need to make that happen. We will try to get everybody to New York City. And I won't share the details yet, but we have some very, very exciting plans in New York City with some exciting, I think we have some exciting opportunities. Tim especially would probably be very excited. I'm sure Ryan, I'll just put it like this. Ryan, there is a diamond district in NYC, and you might have to stop there and bring something with you, because we've got some exciting things happening.
This is exciting.
I think we should arrange an unauthorized SCR event at the National. You are more than welcome to do that. We will not be there. But there'll be a lot of unauthorized activity at the NYC event. Not by me. I am like our guest Petty. I do not partake in the legal 420 anymore. I've never partaked in the snow drifting or anything like that. Those things are not for me. But I am more than comfortable to be around any or all of that. I'll probably have a few drinks on a night or two. So we will be
going live Thursday of the National, so it'll probably be the 25th of July. So if you are at the National and you want to call in and give us a vibe check, certainly call in and let us know what you think of Cleveland.
Yes. And we'll reach out. There's going to be people there, there's going to be people there that have channels and stuff, and maybe we'll reach out and see if they want to come on. I'd only go to a card show and smoke with Tim and Ryan and have an old fashioned with Colin. Hey, Fooey, that sounds good to me. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm ready. Nick Rinaldi with the $2, $6,000 to violate intellectual property. That is, I can't even remember the guy's name. But yeah, Jimmy. His idea. Yeah, I tuned out during that segment. So, anyways,
that was you missed
Christine. Looking great in her new photo there. $2. Ask Jimmy if he wants to invest in flip flops. I think that would be a far better investment.
Great idea.
Far better investment. Or
Christine,
Beanie
send me those flip flops.
Ryan, he should just give you $6K for I don't know if you'd sell the website for $6K, but like to me, it's like this is a pretty good. This is probably a decent moneymaker for you here.
Yeah, it's worth more than $6K, but
yeah, probably.
We could talk. Yeah, we could talk figures. Certainly.
And then he can hype it all he wants on here.
I know.
Yep.
He could. I mean, look at all these.
So
ads.
make an offer. Yeah, I know. I turned up the ads on one of my websites. I was like, oh shit.
So wait, this video has 207,000 views. What the fuck am I doing over here making videos?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck am I doing? God damn.
There you go.
Look at how easy this video is to make. Like you'd never see my face. You never see my fucking face. Are there any haters in the comments? Oh no, there's no haters in the comments. Did I get threatened did somebody threaten to sue me because of this video? Oh no. God, I know what I'm going to be doing. I know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow.
Need to have Tim have a gong he can bang when it's time to hang up on these guys. Yeah, maybe we'll let him control him control like the in and out of the, you get like a couple, maybe like 20 seconds to make a quick point, and then you just get cut off. Very much like old school sports talk radio. I mean, it was kind of ran that way. Valor Sports Cards 1999. PSA can barely tell if a card is off center. They sure as hell won't be able to tell what card is cleaned or not. I agree with that. I agree with that.
I agree.
I agree with that. If I'm going to wax and loop something, it won't be my cards. I agree with that. CB Hobby felt scammed, Ryan, but he gave us $50. He says all these free plugs. There it is. So at least we got another 50 out of them. Hopefully somebody
we're scamming
promo code. Yeah,
that's how you scam people in this hobby. Yeah. We're just pulling off a bigger scam here.
That's it. It's beautiful grift. Thank you, CB Hobby, for all you've done. 10% off promo code Will Grier. I mean, this should be your first stop, other than Mary Gamble's Instagram.
I agree.
Jason Moran with the $5. Mary F. Kill Autumn from WTB. Jeff's wife's Mary. Okay. Mary fuck kill. So he's gonna marry Autumn from WTB. I don't know who that is.
We the Hobby.
And then he's going to have sex with Jeff's wife, and unfortunately, Mary Gamble is going to not make it. So
okay, it looks like maybe we're.
How would you order it?
How would I? Yeah. I'm not gonna answer just in case my wife is watching. Ryan, do you want to answer this?
What's the Mary fuck kill Autumn, Jeff's wife, Mary Gamble. Wow.
Who's Autumn?
Autumn is this girl over here from We the Hobby. We're gonna kill Autumn because we don't know her.
Okay.
We're gonna marry Gamble. We're gonna marry Mary Gamble because we're gonna pull a Bill Belichick, but we'll be fucking Jeff's wife on the side, I guess. So that's what we'll do.
I'll marry Jeff's wife.
Okay. Jeff might be the.
She's got kids though. She's got kids, and then she's gonna have an ex, so it's gonna be complicated. So I just figure Mary Gamble probably doesn't have any baggage, so we're gonna marry her, fuck Jeff's wife on the side, and then unfortunately we got to nuke Miss Autumn because we don't know her yet. So
Jeff's
maybe
wife she's the sugar mama.
Yeah, but I think the earning potential for Miss Mary Gamble is quite high as well. People probably underrate that, but this girl can make quite a bit of money in different areas of life, and so she's younger, so we're just pulling we're just pulling the Bill Belichick over here. That's what we're trying to do. We're just pulling the Bill Belichick. So I feel like I could pull a woman like Jeff's wife, and so
wow, okay.
Hey, we had to answer it, right? So that's how I would answer it.
I heard you. Jason Moran with the $2. I'm embarrassed to be in the hobby with these callers. Yes, hey, Sports Card Radio brings them in, guys. Like no.
This is the hobby, though. Yeah, we try to give you we could just go to a fucking card show and just be like, I spent $10,000 and look at all the shit in my PSA vault that's worth money, guys. And
yeah, we could do that.
We could do the same thing that pretty much everybody else is doing. Instead, we bring people on the show. We give them a platform. We don't screen the call. We just let them go. And I think it's actually kind of fun. Sometimes when I listen it back, I'm like, damn, we shouldn't have cut that guy off. We should have just let him go. because that was gold content. Certainly better than anything I have to say.
You're a good man for listening to these back. I don't do that. Valor Sports Cards again said, I bet this guy's wife secretly DMs Jeff Wilson. I think he was talking about what was the guy with the strong take? Petty?
Mike Petty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's thinking that his wife secretly is DMing Jeff Wilson on the side. So
okay.
Although, as we know with Jeff Wilson, he doesn't necessarily respond. According to Christine, she tried to reach out and he did not respond. Thank you, Valor Sports Cards. Major Sports Cards with the $20 first drink of the night for Mr. Petty, who definitely came in hard in the paint.
Right.
Thank you, Major Sports Cards. Very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Here you go.
Nice.
You got to
call 911 based on his heart rate. Yeah. Said his heart rate was going up. I don't know if that was a bit or if he was actually being truthful about that. But maybe he needs an Apple Watch because I think that's what the Apple Watch does. We'll have to get him one maybe.
His health looks like his heart rate went up.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Could have been the cocaine use. He did admit to some cocaine usage. So
could have been that. Yeah.
That'll catch up to you.
Like
really
that guy in the white jacket at one point, and then that's like on cocaine and then off cocaine.
Right.
Jason Moran with the $2. Can't get enough of people ripping Dumb and Dumber. There it is.
There it is.
Mary gonna go see you? Is that where she's going? No, she's not seeing you.
Highly doubtful. Highly doubtful.
It's too bad.
She can come visit me in Hermosa.
Yeah. Okay,
There
well,
we go.
I'll message her. I'll message her and see if she wants to do that.
She should. I think she should.
I'll negotiate that. I think I'm a good negotiator. Jason Moran, $5. Petty is the kind of guy who gets weekend custody of his kids and doesn't show up. I can't confirm or deny that allegation. Maybe we'll have to. Maybe next week his kid will call in and we'll get the full story there. But he had a strong take, and I did appreciate that. His office looked very nice as well. David Snyder with the $10. Do you have a favorite Fleer metal card?
I didn't like that set. Honestly, I didn't like that set when it came out in the 90s. I did just grade this Fleer metal card. This speaking of young players, Marcelo Mayer, or however the hell you say his name, but it graded a 9. It's hard to get 9s on these motherfucking cards. So I did pretty well there. So right now, this is definitely my favorite Metal Universe card. That I'm into for only $35. So we'll see. Maybe I'll just auction that or something.
I mean, to piggyback off that, I didn't mind the first. I don't know if the first time they kind of remade them, but there was that moment where they remade them, and I thought that was like actually
2013.
Yeah, they don't remake cards it's like sometimes they remake a card and you're like, I thought this was like that was the time. That was okay, like I didn't mind them remaking these cards.
These cards sell well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think they're cool. I think they're cool. I wouldn't discourage anybody from collecting something like that if they thought it was cool. Yeah. I don't think we need all the colors, but red and green are just fine. SCR swag for the National. I keep saying it's coming, and I hope I deliver. Still have. When is it? I get things done at the last minute. So I don't know when the National is, but it will be very last minute. But enough time, hopefully, to where we can ship them out. And if you want to wear it to Cleveland, Ohio, more than welcome to do that. I said Celtics at 5, we get $10. Thank you, Big Cost Music Channel. Glad you said that because you got us $10. Celtics in 5. That was the easy money. I mean,
damn right.
Easy. Big Cost coming in again with the 20. I'm dropping a huge W. Willie Mays collection on Golden soon. Interesting, about a week or so. Hook me up with some sweet SCR pub when the time comes. Yeah, so send us an email, sportscardshow@gmail.com. We'd be happy to do that for you. Honestly, with the, you send us 10 and another 20. I mean, we would do it for free. Let's be real. But you send us $30 when that comes in. Sure. And we might even bid on a card or two. Because still think Willie's slightly underappreciated.
This ended for about where they sell for.
What
So
they sell for,
yeah, his stuff hasn't exploded.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it. Maybe his autographs, obviously, maybe surged a little bit, but I had some of his cards on online, and they did sell. Cheap ones, dollar cards, they did sell. Big Cost coming in again with 10, so he sent us 40. So yeah, we're gonna pump the hell out of your Willie Mays. So yeah, when that comes in, and look, anybody that's got something like that, I mean, you know what I mean? Like I'm more than willing to help people out. If it helps, I mean, if it helps out, it helps out. Try to do that on Jeff Wilson's channel. Caitlin Clark's Panini Instant Rookie debut sale, May 7th, $9.99. It has gone 6x to $59.99. I'm not super surprised. I think, obviously she's a wonderful player. I think very entertaining to watch. There's something about her play that is entertaining to watch. There's kind of the drama now of what's going to happen to her. Like, will a player hard foul her? Will she get body checked? Then it's like, what are the bitches going to be saying about her after the game? So I think she's one of the most compelling athletes in the hobby. 3, 4, 5 years from now, is that still going to be the case? It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for her to maintain that type of draw. If she does, then we're talking, one of those handful of athletes that are going to transcend the game. But we'll see. She's certainly entertaining to watch, and I'm not surprised people are paying big money for her cards because she's brought in a whole audience of fans, not just to the WNBA, but to just the games and cards as well. So I'm not surprised. Very cool.
Big money.
Chinese buffet, Luka, baby. Bob's big boy. There it is. I mean, I hate to say that we called it, but we called it on this guy. We saw him for what he was worth, and he ain't worth shit, guys. Much rather have Caitlin Clark cards, that's for sure, among other things. Maybe we'll save that for next time. Folks, it is now 9/11 here on the West Coast. We are dipping into Friday on the East Coast.
Wow.
So speaking of dipping, I'm sure, Ryan may have I don't know what app you're on these days. Tim, I don't know if the Ukrainian is still in the picture or if, somebody's wife is on the
Ukrainian
menu.
out. There's 2 wives now.
2 wives. Okay. Very nice. Working on a third, I'm sure. It's pretty late, and payday's tomorrow, and I haven't worked in 3 weeks. So life is good, and we will see you guys again next week. Final words, Mr. Tim.
Nothing here.
Nothing here.
We got the indie pop version of the song. I know you guys have been waiting eagerly for that. We'll see you guys next week. Colin, any final words?
cbhobby.com, baby. Will Grier 10% off.
Damn fucking right.
That's right.
When you open your mouth, I take it with a grain.
Wow. That was clean.
Nice.
That's gonna put people to bed on the East Coast now, where
Put
it's
you to bed.
12. That'll put it to bed, boys.
All right.
Let's put it to bed.
Let's
See you
put
guys
it to
next
bed.
week.
Later.
Yeah.
Later.